Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our finals. PC finals for the Season 3 Rainbow Six Pro League. Playing Ducks versus Continuum. Kickstart, we had a huge game from Playing Ducks yesterday. We had a very impressive game from Continuum today. In 5 words, what do you think we're going to see here?
5 words? Well, there's 5.
All right, 3 off. It's going to be math.
I don't know. I'm honestly not sure. On Oregon, it's going to be kind of a toss-up. Both of these teams are skilled at playing this, and we all know that. Well, honestly, it's a toss-up. There's not much to say. It really comes down to which team put more practice into their Oregon in the last few days. If they took away from the matches that were played already. But we'll find out.
I think one thing Playing Ducks really needed to have seen yesterday, the strategy that's really held Continuum true on this map, was what they're doing here. It's their mute juggle with their late rotates upstairs with the double roamers, with their rook and their bandit.
Right.
Canadian coming up and over to the top. But then, how do you shake that...
A rush from Playing Ducks.
A rush
2
from
kills.
B, that's how you do it. Lems picks up 2, does get taken down with the 3rd man, but Panics follows up and trades out afterwards. MVK now is there to clean up the mess that's left, however. There are only 2 defenders left up. Young did take Panics down finally with a killing blow, but Zoronic, Enemy, and Meepy are now here. Young darts back and gets behind these cardboard boxes, but Zoronic can't see him and the shotgun will win out. Back to a 2v2. NVK is upstairs. Meepy's in the site. This grenade is close and has tagged Young, but nothing serious. As he tries to sprint away, there he walks straight into Meepy, who has been doing huge amounts of work all weekend for P-Ducks. MVK is now coming down from behind, will get one, and it's a 1v1 situation. Meepy with a diffuser on Thermite inside the B-bomb site. NVK has to retake this, but he knows he can wait for the diffuser to go down or listen for it and choose his time wisely. There's 2 minutes on the clock, but it's just become 45 seconds. Pushes down through the back corridor. Inside this red edge, using these kill holes to try and get an angle on where Meepy may be. He doesn't know if it's A or B just yet. He's checking all over the A-B site. Slowly moving forward, watching in towards the other side. Now he knows it's in A, but does he know where Meepy is? Meepy washes the hole! He guessed correctly. First round Playing Ducks.
Now, interesting thing about that 1v1 is those were the 2 star players from both teams. Meepy and MVK obviously put both of them put a lot of work into the semifinals to get them here today. And that was a very impressive play from Meepy.
Yeah, so there we go. We wanted to talk about the start. So how do you shake the mute jammer? How do you juggle and
you just go for it.
The A side? Yeah.
Right on
straight in the back door. Go straight down through B. Use that Ash surprise shock strategy. And it worked beautifully. Playing Ducks saw a hole in that Continuum strategy and have exploited it straight from the get-go. Now, it's Continuum's turn. We know Playing Ducks aren't going to fall to a rush. There's no way you can use a rush strategy and then fall down to one stretch now. Even if...
It works once.
Yeah, it works once in the game for either squad. Playing Ducks now their normal defense may not be the strongest in the world, so they may not... Oh, Continuum may not feel they need to do a rush strategy.
Yeah.
But...
They're going to be doing the same. Bandit mute strat.
The only difference here is they've got a castle instead of a rook.
So I'm guessing that they're probably going to have some roamers here.
But we also got to remember that Europe love to run upstairs meeting room defense.
Yep.
Drop the trapdoors and put castle barricades all around there.
That's what I'm guessing we're going to see.
That is what it looks like.
And these mute jammers upstairs are going to allow the defensive team to actually do that flexibly without getting droned out by the attackers.
Yeah, they've jeinforced this back edge. They're going to mute jam it there. They've got drones to jammers to block the top floor. They've reinforced the meeting room as well on the front edges and the kitchen wall. So they are going for that very heavy upper floor defense.
CTM taking...
How long can they hold it? Because yesterday we saw teams try lost these upper floor defense and then rotate off very, very early. I
mean, as long as you can stall a little bit of time with standing up there, if you're leaving, like for example, the box drop open in meeting hall, that's not too dangerous. So if you can stay in meeting, stay in kitchen, stay in army, for example, for a good minute or 2 of the round, and then just retreat back, that's perfectly fine, as long as you waste their time. Or if you get a couple picks, you know, that's good too.
So,
but it looks like they're going to actually just sit up there based on that bandit.
Yeah, bandit's not quite juggling it, but he's staying very close. He did get droned out and is now thinking about moving or juggling the move and pretending it. Enemy is up here and is slightly further off spread corner of the bedrooms. It does look like Continuum are going to try and shake these guys out, or at least have one man watching the doorway nothing else. They're going to grenade into it and peek, and Lemens will lose out to Canadian. The Bashies are going to get taken out, and Young takes Zeronic down too, so there's 2 of the upstairs players gone. Enemy is still up here in Castle Walls, but Panix is realizing he needs to get on out. There's a man outside the front door that's going to pinned here now against his own castle barricade, but a good covering fire, gets himself down and gets himself towards the bomb site. Beast site, however, only has Meepy on it. Now he's smoke, and that's going to be very nice because one, I think he has a shotgun. 2, the smoke charges will be able to help him hold off the push while his team rotate to help.
Yep.
Enemy was upstairs on the very, very top floor. He's now slowly approaching the way back down, but they don't seem to have spotted or droned him specifically yet. So the longer he can stay alive and the better he times his rotate back to site, the more damage he could do.
MVK Continuum got a good 2 picks in the beginning of this round, but now they're kind of stalling out here in the back tower area. Not really looking for any particular push, waiting for the defenders to peek them.
Yeah, they've rotated a few players out and through to construction and now blowing into red and into the little blue box.
Yep.
Panix into the corridor is spraying back and forth. Meepy scared of those grenades coming up and over the top, and rightly so. See where his first few smoke charges start to go out. They're not going anywhere as Young has already taken him down. Panix has been smoked out the corridor, does impact nade forward, but it's not going to do anything serious. Canadian's got himself into the site after dropping through, but Panix is going to come down and land on one of his squad mates, but couldn't even get the kill. Panix will trade onto Canadian, but cannot get the kill onto Retro. And that is round number 2 in for Continuum.
That was a really good take from Continuum. They saw what the European team was trying to do, and with the heavy roam, and they're like, okay, we'll just ignore that. We'll come from the back, and we'll address it from a construction tower sort of setting. And they didn't have anyone in position to stop that. Typically, when you do a heavy roam strat, the main focus of the people who aren't roaming should be to hold construction and tower.
Yeah, we regularly see someone on that back staircase.
Yeah.
Holding from that angle, and
exactly.
They've got the meeting push and the stair push, and they can't get through it. There's no one on the stairs, so control for Continuum. So, 1 round apiece. Continuum down into the basement once more. Setting up everything the same as they did before. They're just going to be a little bit more aware this time. Now we get to see what Playing Ducks have properly up their sleeve for this strategy. They got their one cheesy Rust win for it. Now they need to do it for real. Kill holes being made there by Necrox into the kitchen corridor, into the kitchen itself through from meeting. Think they might have something to do with that, or is it just something to take the attention of Playing Ducks, just to throw them off? Because we've seen everything else about this setup before. They go over the top, they crack the windows from the tower, they go over the attic, but that kill hole to meeting is a new one.
Well, I'm guessing based upon how many people they have downstairs, they're not going for a heavy roamer strat, but that hole is going to allow, if they have any roamers whatsoever, it's going to give them a lot of flexibility. Because if you're on the meeting hall side of the building, upstairs, then you're stuck on the meeting hall side of the building. But if you're on the other side of the building, it's the same thing. But if you have that hole in the kitchen wall, there's an extra rotation, so you can't just get cut off from the door in the meeting hall to lobby.
Meepy then drones the back tower area and then heads to rappel up while LMs is doing the legwork with this drone for him. Checking the attic, checking the holes that are there, and they now know that it is largely clear, and Zeronic is here covering this floor as well. So it's going to be another backside push, at least to begin with for Playing Ducks. They still have a chance to rotate to the front edge, but they're going to have a real tough time shaking that mute off the front desk. Because yes, he's going to sit there and juggle it, but they have no Thatcher. Even he would have a tough time shaking it. We've seen teams throw Blackbeards down there, but Continuum are ready for that. They sit there with a pair of shotguns. And, I mean, even Blackbeard has trouble fighting down the stairwell.
Well, you got to imagine they just won with this attack. They're going to be ready to defend against it.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to me that we haven't seen any lobby takes so far. That's typically what you see in Pro League, and we haven't seen it.
So it breaches into the meeting room from Ash and the Playing Duck squad. Gives Meepy a chance to get in and blow this corridor trapdoor. The strongest one of the meeting two.
Yeah. Honestly, that one
another charge, which he now looks like he's going out through construction. He's going to go down and blow the wall to box instead of the trapdoor.
Yeah. And it makes sense. The trapdoor above box isn't entirely useful. If you drop through it, you're giving the defenders an advantageous position on you. But if you open up that wall in construction itself, that's going to give you an angle to play into the bomb site.
So, as for the Continuum defense, what have they got holding on this edge? Well, Young's still at the front. MVK is now coming up the corridor. Canadian is close. LM's drone, though, will have just spotted MVK, so that's why Zeronic is cautious of this side of the corridor. MVK is teasing in and out, kills the drone, gets just back through as his feet scuff through Zeronic's crosshairs. LM still covering up top. Enemies edging towards the front edge with a bit of pressure, but Canadian's going to be the first peek out and casualty, and Zeronix gets Retro, who tries to go for the trade frag, but just steps his crosshairs into Zeronix headspace.
That was great play from Zeronix there, utilizing that shield to the maximum.
Very nicely done. He's now going to flashbang down just as LM's dropped to help cover that for him. He's now going to drop and push towards box. Necrox is actually out there, so Thermite couldn't go through, but they have got him in the start of the plant. NVK rotated inside the site. It's going to pick up Canadian. LM's got to be cautious of behind because Necrox is here, but also there's 2 people in front. NVK has been down by LM's, but Young will trade LM's out before Meepy takes Young down. Necrox stuck in the smoke now, knows Zyronic is this end. Meepy again picking up 2 before Zyronic finishes Necrox off for the final kill. And the round for playing Ducks. Meepy again coming up big inside that site.
That was excellent coordination from playing Ducks there. Zeronix got the early picks, as you saw, put one person down, but they didn't just stop there. They applied the pressure as soon as they had that opening, using the drop down that they opened prior in the round. And it was just good coordination. Everyone went in all at once.
Yeah, I was a little bit concerned when LMs just let NVK run into that room. They knew Canadian was down there. They knew they saw the blood tail going. They knew as soon as they let NVK in, he's going to revive a man in there. Most people's instinct, my instinct at the moment was push on in, kill him while he's reviving, but the smarter play and the reason they work, they realize they don't know what's on the other side of it. They both can come back out of there, catch them, they come out, and that's what they did perfectly. They traded 1 for 1 for 1 as they came out of that box. Meepy stays alive at the end of it and goes big with Zeronix watching behind. So great presence of mind in that split-second decision that's needed to secure another round.
I'm interested to see. This is the sort of same sort of thing that we were seeing on Clubhouse, or was it Clubhouse? Yeah, it was the same thing we were seeing on Clubhouse yesterday on the Xbox semifinals. Are we going to be seeing who's going to win defense? Who's going to win defense on the basement first? And are we going to see one of the teams mix it up and defend second floor before they finish a defense hold?
Yeah. Now, Playing Ducks have adjusted their lineups slightly. They're no longer running the Bandit,
this is
which they had here holding this time. Yeah, they are heavy roam again. Trapdoors being broken into the basement. Reinforcements and castle barricades all over the meeting room again.
It's pretty much the same thing that they're doing last time, but they don't have a Bandit.
They don't have a Bandit, but what they have instead is a Pulse. They've also switched operators around. Like Elems was the Bandit, he's now the Rook. Panics switched onto a Pulse, but yeah, this was my thing. It's like, okay, where's he going to play? We wanted someone in the staircase.
Yeah.
He's watching that area. He's using the heartbeat sensor to do it, though. Can't actually apply any pressure.
Yeah, he can't really do anything.
The other thing they've done here, there's a castle barricade on that back door now. That was a normal barricade before.
Honestly, that's a good thing for the attackers. If they want to isolate tower and construction, then they have done just that with that castle barricade, but they also won't be able to open up the drop downs, which is what Playing Ducks did on their last attack. They won't be able to apply any pressure vertically.
So I'm not sure if his heartbeat sensor actually got EMP'd or what. He's still using it though.
And it's working now.
There we go. Retro planning a charge on the wall, will blow it. Forces Panics to fall back into a slightly more passive position inside the site. Still not too far though. He actually dropped through the trapdoor, so yeah, he's back down to B now. So minute 50, 1 thermite charge gone. Not on a trap, but the traps inside are already open. They don't need to worry about thermite using them.
Yeah.
Still a little bit slower from Continuum, but they're gathering information and figuring out where to be. NVK has come down. He has tagged LMs quite hard with all these shots and gets the successful headshot without taking anything serious. C4 goes out from Panics and it does down him. I don't know if he'd have heard the yell, but he's not going to be 100% sure. Sprays to be sure. NVK now hasn't got any support to revive him though. Young is going to have a tough time getting into him. Retro is going to very, very cautiously try and edge down the stairs, but they aren't going to rush it. NVK has been such a huge force in their pushes in the last couple of rounds. They need to make sure they can get him back up, and they need to not lose anything in the process. Retro using his next thermite charge here on the box. As Young looks through and makes sure nobody peeks out to shoot it or do anything crazy, and now has that perfect angle into the site that you talked about.
And there's no one actually sitting on the eagle. They're playing the bomb site extremely passively, all the way in the back there. Don't want to risk anything or don't want to risk any bodies to this Blackbeard.
Meepy dodging these Blackbeard spray through the boxes. He does take a little bit of damage, but he's alive this time. Grenades are coming out. P-Ducks use the first kill onto C4 to Young. That's the Blackbeard gone. Meepy's been downed though. NVK has also been revived at this point. Panics comes on through, does get the revive onto Meepy. Zeronic's very, very low inside this B side as well. Crocs is still watching for that late flank up front, and that's where Zeronic is looking to go. Inside the site comes Retro. MVK takes Meepy out before he can get any smoke charges off. Here comes the breach from Canadian. He's got those firebolts on the door, and MVK gets another one onto enemy now. There's the plant down. Zeronic gets a great shot onto MVK finally, but it's too little too late as Canadian's firebolt finishes Zeronic off inside the store cupboard.
Yeah. That was a really good take from Continuum. They applied the pressure where it was necessary, and they didn't leave anything to risk. You saw there, they firebolted off the hallway, and they were keeping eyes on both of the drop downs. They had even someone watching for the flank in the lobby. There was no risk at all. And they got the picks off just as they should.
Yeah. So as you mentioned, it's going to be who can actually win defense to the basement. The Continuum not waiting so long this time. Straight up into the master bedroom.
This is smart. Hopefully they're going to be able to mix it up here and win a defense. Something to say on the last round, though. It's interesting to see that C4 hole that they're making in the back hallway, playing Ducks. It's actually getting used against them with those grenades going back into the back of B's site. And I'm not so sure that they should keep opening them, because the C4 kill that they did get was not through that. It was just right over the boxes.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's really truly necessary, and it applies more pressure to themselves than anything.
So, Young dropping a camera in the meeting hall. You see Pulse is up and above him in the back tower. Canadian there. Rotate hole being made into kitchen. So yes, this is a bedrooms, dorms hold.
They're going to try.
They're going to go with a very lower floor presence.
What they're doing here is they're basically trying to deny the attackers the ability to throw grenades at their feet. One of the worst things about this site, maybe even possibly the hardest part of holding this site, is that as a buck could just come up from underneath you, throw 2 grenades, and you're out of the game. So what they're doing here is they're playing downstairs to deny just that.
See if they can hold it well enough. Canadian is down here still. NVK is down here still. The other 3 are upstairs, but close enough to the different stairwells they could rotate and help if needed. Still droning from playing Ducks. They need to find where each of these players are, but Panic's out on that back tower is in a position to start opening up this kid's bedroom windows. As and when they see it. Spotted that camera. I think he must have seen it. It turns blue right as he drones through the meeting hall. He'll have seen the light come on. Gives Zeronic the all clear to come into the armory though, as the team have droned up and looking towards master bedroom. He does begin to prefire a couple of the predictable corners, just in case. There's no harm in trying to get lucky. And then watches towards the attic while they're still checking tower, while they're still unsure about it. There could be someone coming across that angle. So he's got to be aware. And now I lose one of 2 thermite charges to open up the armory wall. So it's going to be a front end site. This means they're normally looking to plant in and around the generator. Yeah.
What they're going to try and do is probably opening up that closet wall if it's not already open. Didn't quite see it in the setup. But if it is, they're going to be if it's closed, rather, they're going to be thermiting that and trying to get a plant in that tiny little room.
BK and Canadian are down in the meeting hall. LMs are taking a fair bit of damage here and not dealing any. In fact, it will just straight fall to NVK.
I don't think he was expecting somebody to be playing a meeting.
No, I think it surprised him. He's got another core hole into the toilets too, and NVK is looking for someone to come hunting him, but no one's really doing that from Playing Ducks yet. They're just letting him be.
One thing I will say about the Playing Ducks roster right now is their team rather, they're kind of spread out. They've got somebody, rappelling on that big window, just looking into the site. They had somebody in the lobby, and now everybody else is over on the armory side of this site. And they need to coordinate a little bit more. They need to be together a little bit more. And there's Blackbeard in the lobby. What are you doing?
Going down the lobby, exposed himself completely, and Canadian will take that free kill. NVK takes out enemy upstairs as well. Now Meepy is in the cupboard, and he is trying to blow that wall, but with all his team dead, he has killed NVK. But it gives free movement for Young to push into the master bedroom because of that push from Canadian underneath. And okay, Panics comes in, gets a great kill onto that first man he lives through, but he's got 3 more to find. They know where he is. And it will not last long. The truck safe now. We have our first defense win, but it took going upstairs to do it.
Yeah.
Now it's on Playing Ducks. Pressure's on you to mirror that win.
Something to say about that Playing Ducks attack. What we saw them, the 2 wins that they have so far were both on attack, and one of them was a rush trap where everyone just piled on in. The second one was a coordinated assault from one end of the bomb site, and everyone was shoulder and shoulder. When somebody died, they could be traded back. What we saw here was a number of the players. Blackbeard was in the lobby. They had somebody rappelling on big B window. They had another person coming in from garage, and only 2 people pushing from the, I guess, predetermined push location for the site. So they really didn't. There's not enough coordination, not enough teamwork. No one to trade out the kills. And it looks like they're going to be also defending upstairs. It's a good mix-up. It seems that both of the teams have their basement attack down pat. It's pretty similar, but they're not going to risk it here.
So, Playing Ducks are setting upstairs as well. They are running similar set of operators to what they ran downstairs, though. They're still bringing the Rook in. They're still bringing the Castle in.
Yeah.
Used a couple of his barricades there, you see, on the master bedroom and stopping access to that.
This is an interesting castle.
Yeah, what's this for?
What does that... You know what that is? That castle right there is so that somebody playing downstairs can C4 underneath this wall once it's been reinforced. So what they're going to do is, if they're attacking from Armory, they're going to have both those walls reinforced. They'll open up the Armory wall, and then the Thermite will move over to the Closet wall, and then Valkyrie, or somebody with C4, will come up from underneath and get that kill.
Nice kill from LMs. Peeks out of the bedroom aggressively. It's unexpected. It's a surprise, and it does work by taking out Canadian. The other thing that he did know, he two-punched the petite classroom window.
Yeah.
So it's possible that someone can jump out of the generator window.
So he can get the C4. He can get the C4 kill, and then if someone's repelled or if somebody's out there, he can just run out and get that kill too.
He can escape too.
It's a really good castle window setup.
Covered from the front door. MVK up at the back stairs. He knows his man up here. The drone was killed off. Zarnik moved though and dodges the grenade. MVK is ready for him to come down. He sees the next drone get killed off, but he doesn't peek right at the point. Another grenade goes up, goes over. Zarnik again is not far enough around that edge, but nice reaction from MVK. Takes Zarnik down. Took 2 grenades to do it, but it is eventually done.
Yeah, and so far a trade 1-for-1, but definitely in the favor of Playing Ducks right now. Capital's kind of... He's got a lot of utility. He's got unique utility, and having him off the board early is going to put a lot of pressure on the attackers.
Yeah, Bandit's got all his gadgets down and placed already.
Yeah.
The hardwire's already gone, the battery's already gone. He doesn't need to be alive to use those anymore. So his job is successful for now. The attack is starting to take shape, though. We got Young on the A windows. We've got Retrono coming across the attic here.
This attack is something we've seen from Sisu before, where they open up that sky bridge and try to apply pressure to the hallway. It's worked in the past, so let's see if Continuum can make it work. But another thing is they're very spread out.
They are. The other thing the Sisu do is they'd open up the attic just to check it's clear, and then they put all their pressure actually on the kids' windows. They'd rappel up there.
Yeah.
So they needed to make sure Boonsea's Blackbeard was safe when rappelling. So that's why they're in the attic. But yeah, there's no Blackbeard rappelling. They're not seem to be putting any pressure on those kids' windows yet.
And there's only 56 seconds left in the round.
Yeah, an enemy is stuck here in the garage, fine. But if MVK has to sit here and watch him, he's also stuck.
That's a lot of
3v3
potential.
now for the rest of the site. And we've already seen how much of an impact MVK makes in the pushes here for Continuum, so they need his presence. So enemy, just by being there, is doing his job quite well at the moment. You see there, Retro is still running around by the kitchen as well. He's on that basement floor, is now starting to rappel up. Young's on the A windows. Retro, in fact, going to fall to LMs, going up those windows. LMs with a second one onto Young now as well. Peeking in and out of this corridor doing work. MVK finally starting to make note. Does take down Meepy, but that gives enemy freedom to move. Look, he's coming up straight behind him with a shotgun in hand. Boom, free kill. MVK looking the wrong way. Necrox is now alone with mere points of health, single digits now, and he's got to find 2 kills in 15 seconds. He does have the diffuser, but it takes 7 to plant that. He's got no way it's going to happen. Shotgun around the corner, free for enemy, and Playing Ducks match the defense and keep the score at 3-3.
Yeah, it's a little bit worrying to see from Continuum the same exact mistake Playing Ducks just made. Too spread out. Nobody to trade out the kills. When you die, you die. And Playing Ducks playing that extremely smart. You saw the Valkyrie there in the garage. She didn't bother to move out and try to force her way out of a corner because she didn't need to. She could just sit in that corner, waste all of NVK's time, and she did just that. And then in the end, she came up behind and killed him.
Yes. So, back down to the basement. Continuum have decided to go.
Let's see if they can make this work.
MVK, look, we're talking about average impact. He made 10 and 5 right now. He is
the team.
Backbone of that squad right at the moment.
Yeah, forcing it
fragging, impact fragging. There's a good spread of kills on the rest of them too. It's a very close game. Now, how are they setting up their defense up here again? They've got the double impact nade holes in the attics. They have that rotate if needed. They are reinforcing the meeting hall trapdoors. They're not going to give those up for free. They're going to force them to use things on it. And then they will reinforce box again with Retro. Can you actually get a peek at this, or just making holes to be a nuisance?
I think he's just making holes so he can hold it from tower, maybe?
Yeah, as I said, this is what we saw them do last time they defended, or first time they defended the basement in the semi-final. He opened up all the windows, opened up the attic, so he has those 3 possible pathways to rotate across to that top edge.
Yep.
And that really slowed down and hurt the attacking team, as it was, Sisu, in trying to figure out where he was going to come from. And then he wasted so much time and so much effort that they couldn't push the bomb site in time. See if Playing Ducks saw that and learned from it, though. They are droning up top again. Blackbeard, Zeronic is there and on the armory windows and is thinking about heading in. He has now gone into the garage and is content that it's clear. Meepy is droning the meeting hall and he knows that's open, but he will now make a hole in the wall to see that back doorway and be able to lock out that room and stop any rotates that come right through there. But
seems kind of like CTM.
Very heavily B stacked.
Yeah, they're very focused towards construction right now. They have one player focusing on A, and that's exactly where Playing Ducks are coming from. But Playing Ducks are kind of extending themselves. They're trying to take control of Meeting Hall now, which is going to be forfeited by Continuum. Interestingly, not very many people... Oh, wait, no, it's not. Because Canadian looks like he's going to try and use the Sky Bridge to shoot down on the people coming into meeting.
He's heading up and over the attic. They have droned this. They know it's open. Canadian, I do believe, was spotted coming up the stairs on a drone. So Playing Ducks have an idea to pay attention to him. They have that man up there in armory, just caught in the corner of the eye. He's above the trapdoor now. Minute 20 seconds on the clock. Still a lot of time. The attackers are finally starting to pressure the front site. You see, Thatcher is used. The EMPs have gone off. The thermite charges are going on the trapdoor, and Elems gets away with his life intact here. And all Canadian has done is proven to give his position up. Meepy comes around the corner with the diffuser in hand and just about gets out alive. Canadian tags him up heavily. Does get down onto Panics. Thanks to some cover, helps that out. MVK takes Zeronic. That's Blackbeard gone again through this hole towards the back door.
This is very impressive play from Continuum.
Playing Ducks lose another one as Canadian takes him out from up top. Enemy does finally get the trade, but Playing Ducks are pushing very heavily towards these guys, trying to kill these guys in meeting instead of just pressuring the bomb sites and letting them walk into the flank.
Yeah, they could have just done a lobby take. They could have just done a construction take, but instead they tried to, establish complete control on the entire meeting hall, and that fell right into Continuum's trap. That
they've just rotated around to try and come into B, and the Retro has been sitting there the whole time. They didn't have the utility to go up front, so they tried a different take. They're down to 20 seconds. The delay Retro just caused has given enough time for MVK, Young, and Necrox to all rotate towards the backside. They take out enemy. Meepy goes to MVK as well, and another huge round for him. Keeps Continuum on this defensive streak.
Yep.
But
the only team so far.
Also successful defensive basement, first one.
Yep. They're the only team so far to win any defenses whatsoever, and they've won both.
Yeah. Let's see if Playing Ducks can continue a defense of their own. They held upstairs, so they have to go down again, unless they want to bring out something surprising and new. No, that's not too surprising. So, can they hold this better? Let's see. Like, Zeronic dying to MVK there could be completely avoided if he just hadn't pushed across the meeting hall.
Not actually the only team to win defense, but only team to win defense in the basement. But yeah, no, we're going to see now if Playing Ducks can win their round in the basement. It's looking... I want to give them the odds here. I think they've learned from the way that Continuum has been attacking so far, which has been construction tunnel take, watchtower take, and just move in that way, and it's been working out tremendously for them. Are we going to see Continuum trying to mix it up, though? Are we going to see them try and keep Playing Ducks on their toes? And if we do you think that will end the match? I would imagine so.
Yeah, any time can tell.
They're actually reinforcing
that trapdoor. That's a lot better this time around. I don't mind you playing in here. I don't mind you working in here.
Just one trapdoor, though.
That.
Yeah.
Leave the other one open. You can shotgun that. You can use that to rotate. That's fine. But the corridor one is too damn strong for the attackers to take control of.
Yeah.
And this time they're learning from it. So reinforcing that. Reinforcing a couple of others. Necrox's team and crew are all droning in. LMs you see in the tower there was looking for some kind of cheeky peek again. But he has backed off a little way this time over. Getting that one spawn kill. Probably the best he could have hoped for. But it's still a very heavy roaming setup from Playing Ducks. You can see 2 people still upstairs in the attic of meeting.
I think they're going to try and do something similar to what Continuum did just now. Maybe they're going to be having someone play in attic.
Yeah. Retro's droning the tower. Panics is just tracking them with the heartbeats again like he did before.
And Continuums, they're not mixing up anything. They're going to go for another watchtower construction take. But this time, is Panic's going to be able to get some kills before he goes down?
Yeah, that's the key thing. Like, he heartbeat essentially tracked them all. He knew where they were, but then didn't do anything about it. NVK, once again, is just happily covering those stairs. Last time he got down there and did work from within it, it took a C4 to down him, and then he got revived. He's going to get down that staircase again as soon as he wants to. It's free and open for him. They're just checking and making sure everything upstairs is cleaned out first. It's not, though, so let's see if he has to do something of this. Zeronic and Alems are both up in that bedroom area, both up on the far side of the attic. Canadian and Necrops are at that front end of the site, and it actually looks like they're sending the diffuser that way too. Yeah, they're heading towards the front bomb site. Alems peeks up, MVK puts him straight back down again with a quick spray of bullets to scare him into moving. Panix is still tracking MVK's heartbeat though, keeping the information flowing, but the rest of Continuum now are all at the front end of the map. They're all around Garage, they're all around Armory. They've taken all that time just to drone and decide this. They are rushing straight down the front staircase. Canadian is in. LMs has taken out one. Meepy gets the second one. This could be good for playing Ducks. They look like they had a weakness, but they are picking up the frags they need. Zeronic comes down from behind and takes down Young. Retro is on the plant spot. Panix peeks out after coming down the stairs behind, takes down Necrox. C4 shot out of the air by Retro. He gets the second one, but now he's on the reload. Meepy pushes around to seal it. And there is a successful basement defense for playing Ducks to send us to overtime.
That was really interesting from Continuum. As soon as they couldn't get enough pressure on the Watchtower's construction side of the map, they just kind of fell back and went for a lobby take, but they didn't open up any drops.
They looked at it, they droned it, and they went, hang on a minute, their A site is completely exposed. And they just tried to all sprint down the staircase.
And it didn't work.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, that's fine, you got down there, but then they couldn't get the kills on the other end of it. Playing Ducks reacted quickly, they got the very important first two kills. If either LMs or Meepy had died to one of those two engagements, that would have been a very different attack. But because both of them were still alive, they killed the first two people down. It was far easier for them to hold it and gave both Zeronic and Panix then the time to rotate through the drops and through the staircase to hold it. Those two kills were pivotal. So, upstairs is where playing Ducks have to attack now, and where Continuum have chosen to stand their first overtime defense. I think it's a smart choice. It's the first round they won on defense was upstairs.
It seems like their upstairs defense is a little bit better, but you also have to keep in mind the fact that playing Ducks kind of played their attack on upstairs, well, poorly.
Yeah, I think that was more of it. It was the playing Ducks didn't have a good plan for attack up here more than this Continuum defense.
We'll find out if they actually analyzed what they did wrong in the attack last round and see if they can, fix that.
Yeah, Continuum defense wasn't exactly tested down here.
No.
So let's see if it does this time around. To begin with, Zeronic has already spawned over by Junkyard, so he's not looking towards Armory. He's not going to come in that front edge this time unless he's going to go the long rotate around. So maybe this is telling towards a slight change in strategy for playing Ducks. They do have all other four players on this front edge. They do send them up towards Master Bedroom. Meepy last time around obviously blew that wall in towards Armory and then tried to get here into the closet, but his team was all picked off around him while he was doing it. So even once he got it done, they couldn't really capitalize on it. This time around, the drones have already gone through the Master Bedroom, told each other that it itself is cleared. And enemy will start spraying a couple of windows open and trying to get those lucky picks through towards the attic wall. And just pushing through meeting, and Alems gets taken out from up top by Young through the ladder and attic. Young gets the kill onto Alems. MVK is very low at the moment, but he's still on his feet. Enemy is edging into meeting hall and is looking for an opportunity to try and punish Young, but can't quite find that angle. Panic's been droned out in the front lobby, and here comes Canadian to peek on around. Panix is looking the wrong way. Canadian with a beautiful peek straight into Panix's head. Gives Hanix the good kill that desperately needed here. They also took down MVK at that point and now puts it in a 4v3 in favor of the attacking team. Zeronic's in the small tower and is now finally going to go and join his team up on this A window for what looks to be a more conventional pressure from playing Ducks towards this A bomb site.
Yeah, and this puts them in a really good position, like you said. That's NVK and Canadian, two of the impact players so far throughout this series for Continuum. Off the board, 3 versus 4, and they still have a Blackbeard, and they're going to be applying pressure to A, like you said. I want to see if they're just going to try and go in through this window, or if they're going to try and actually, come up from the stairs at least.
I mean, they've got an extra player. Someone could be going up the stairs.
Yeah.
See if they try it.
I'm worried that they're going to go into this window and fall victim to Necrox just smoking them out.
They've got Hollow Sight Panix. I'd love to see him try and go up that staircase.
Yeah.
Yep. be perfect, but we'll see if he does or not. As it is, Retro stuck here at the back of Kid's bedroom. Is cautious of the shots coming through the mattress. They are close, but not close enough. Meepy's still out there with the diffuser. Zeronic out there watching behind the bomb. There's the spray through. Retro does get down. Don't know if it was droned or not, or if they are aware, but he is out of the game, whether he likes it or not. Necrox tucked in behind the bomb, then has smoke grenade. He does peek down the stairs. Great shotgun onto enemy. Peeks out to try and fight the Blackbeard though, and that's not such a great plan. Inside the site goes Meepy now. He's gone all the way in towards the B-bomb site and is actually planting inside Kid's bedroom. They know Young is in the attic. This is where he killed their first teammate from. He's now coming down the corridor. He's got to fight his way past. Panics does get spotted and downed, but they don't know exactly where he is. Meepy is in the perfect spot to hide from him behind the B-bomb. The Blackbeard is still on that A window. They even have the sight from Panics to tell him exactly when he comes past. And it's a beautiful kill. It's ironic. Winning the first round of overtime for Playing Ducks, giving them their lead in this game.
And there was nothing that Young could have done in that situation. You got a Blackbeard on the big window. There's pretty much, you're not going to beat that. You can't. So it was pretty much Playing Ducks around as soon as they got the two roamers and capitalized on that perfectly. They did repel onto the window in Big Kid room, so that applied a lot of external pressure to the smoke who was trying to play in Little Kids, or rather in the hallway.
Kids Dorm, the go-to site now for Playing Ducks as well.
Everybody seems to be winning it.
And defuse as many bombs as they can.
I mean, they won it on defense, their first attempt at it, but they've also just won a defense downstairs.
It's a lot more of a flexible site. You have a lot of options, and when you're defending a basement, what are you going to do? You're going to wait for the guys to open up the drop, or you're going to wait for them to come down the stairs and try and engage them then, or are you going to roam, expose yourself? But when you're defending upstairs, it's kind of different. You have a lot of options. You can pretty much play it from anywhere on the map. You can deny the north windows from Watchtower. You can deny the what was it, the south window? Yeah, the south big window from Little Tower. There's a lot of different choices.
Oh, we'll see what they choose. Once again, two castle barricades using the master bedroom from Panics. He did use one down in the classroom as well and did that second two-punch like he did before. He just did it first this time. Now reinforcing the closet as the attack starts to form up from Continuum. They again are looking to start around the junkyard end. So slightly different beginnings to their strategy from what we saw before. Worked for Playing Ducks.
There's a lot of pressure on Continuum to get this attack right, and it's interesting that they spawned on Junkyard side.
There's a lucky NBK
close
to be alive here. LM's also lucky, to be honest, to have that much health left as he ran away from it. Took 2 rounds from this LID5.
Kind of looks like NVK's trying, setting up to go up those stairs. Sledge is probably the best operator to do just that because he can sledge the barbed wire out of the way, which I'm sure there will be plenty on there.
Yeah, that, and he can also grenade from underneath anyone that might be sitting at the top edge. So
it's interesting that Playing Ducks doesn't play any roamers, or at least not right now. They're not playing any roamers downstairs. They're just allowing Continuum to set up underneath them, which could, like you said, get some grenades up under your feet and cost you a couple players.
The thing that has been shown, though, by Playing Ducks in the previous rounds is they aren't afraid to send out a late roamer. So if Continuum take too long to throw those grenades, too long to make that play, that late roamer may come in and catch them off guard while they're doing it. And here he is. So Zeronic is, I mean, it's very early, to be honest, to be called a late roamer, but he has dropped, he has made himself known down in the meeting hall, and now Continuum have to either pay attention to him or go with their grenades. They've gone with their grenades, and it's paying off because they have downed LMs.
I don't think they know.
I think they might be aware, because you look at Canadian, he is hunting for something. I think they heard him yell, but they couldn't figure out where he was.
Got him.
They do use a second grenade and ultimately kill him with it, but 2 grenades instead of just the 1. Zeronic down in the basement is now slowly creeping up the front stairs, and MVK is cautious of it now. He's finally realized, okay, it's time to pay attention to this guy. Necrox is also helping by watching the front lobby in the meeting hall. So Zeronic's got to pick his time perfectly here. It's a minute 10, it's a long way, and there's the first kill for him. He takes down MVK of all people. Beautiful angle here from the staircase. Sprays up through the floor as Panics takes down Necrox upstairs as well. Then uses that very window, and there's the safety of the castle barricade. There's a man out front, but he can't touch him now because of that castle barricade. Necrox gone and dead, and the front end of this site is now back in Panics and Playing Ducks control. Canadian is close and is droning and trying to get something back, but while he's still there, Panics might grab him. Young takes down Meepy with that Blackbeard, quite a range. Cross from the back end of the site. There's Canadian's drone, taken out by Panics, but immediately traded back by Canadian himself, who was just around the corner. Young now coming up through the back staircase. Slowly looking towards the attic. Has that tight angle. He's got Black Capital here with him now, and there's only 2 defenders left alive. Firebolts in towards B sites. Zeronic peeks around. Blackbeard can just safely peek into it. No real damage done to even Canadian there, as Enemy gets the 1 kill for the defense. Takes down Retro. Canadian comes in, is finished off by the shotgun as well. Young's trying to come down, and he walks straight into the shotgun. Enemy cleans up with a triple kill, and map 1 goes to Playing Ducks.
That was a great 3K from Enemy. Everything was going in Continuum's favor, and he just decided, you know what? No, I don't want to play any more rounds on this map. Let's go to the next one.
Playing Ducks have done that twice now. They've had very close games. They did it yesterday all the way through, 4-4, take it to overtime, and then they'll finally win 2 in overtime on the trot. It make it look easy all of a sudden. I don't know what it is, but something about those best of 3 overtime settings really suits that team.
Yep.
9 kills for Meepy, 7 kills each for everyone
How
else.
many for MVK? 14.
MVK on 14. But
Just not quite enough, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, it shows you the shape of these two teams, right? Continuum's whole setup is around, all right, we find out where everyone is, we herd them into stuff spots, and MVK goes in and kills them, and we will be there behind him to trade anyone out afterwards.
Yeah.
He's the first main in, and they're always there following him up to try and work afterwards. Playing Ducks, on the other hand, have a far more rounded set of strategies, a rounded set of ideas. When, okay, we'll not quite one man in, we will find where everyone is, we'll herd in, we'll push from this side, we'll push from that side, we'll get a little bit each. And then, okay, finally once the thermites are open, Meepy does go in and be the point man, gets a bit more aggressive, and that's why he is that little bit above in the kill feed. But they've also killed a lot of people in the process before he has to do that.
Yeah. MVK does kind of seem like the surgical saw of the team. We're going to go ahead, we're going to put you here, you're going to walk in, you're going to kill 3 people, and then we're going to execute our strat. And there we go, we're good to go.
Yeah,
Not quite enough,
It works very well for them, but not quite enough here on Oregon. Gives Playing Ducks that first map lead. We're now going to go, though, and head towards our second map of the series. And to
Clubhouse.
be fair, yeah, this one...
This is Playing Ducks map.
It's Playing Ducks' choice.
Yeah.
But from the Playing Ducks we saw yesterday on this map, it was old school season, old meta stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff that Continuum does and beats in their sleep.
I agree. I think Continuum, they have an excellent chance to take this back on Clubhouse. I mean, they have some newer stuff that they've been showing earlier in the series. So it's entirely possible that they're going to be able to put this into the third map, which is Bank. But we'll find out.
Yeah, we will find out in just a moment. I mean, there's a very real possibility. Playing Ducks were dubbed yesterday. They were praised for being a team that makes beautiful... That was such a sweet clutch C4 shot. But they are teams that have been praised for making new strategies, for being innovative, for coming up with things and training for hours. And
we've seen a lot of old.
People. But yeah, they haven't shown any of that yet. So now it's a very rare chance that they would have let it go as close as they did yesterday without showing something new and guaranteeing their spot. But there's also a small chance that they've got balls of steel and they did it and they have something hidden up their sleeve here.
Right.
We'll wait and find out if that's the case or not, as Continuum going to take a couple of minutes to take stock and rethink and say, all right, we had a great game. We took it to overtime. Just slightly fell down here. I mean, things like this at the end, Enemy beautifully cleaning up.
I mean, that was Continuum's round right there, and he was just, no, you can't have it, sorry.
No, he made sure they were heading to the next game with a 1-0 lead. And Playing Ducks, yeah, I mean, you saw it in their faces. They really want to win this. This is a first time ever that we've had 2 second-seeded teams in the finals. This is the first time Playing Ducks, as this 5 squad, have ever made it to playoffs.
All of the teams, it's the same for Continuum, sort of, except for Young and Canadian. But all of the teams that made it to finals this season, they absolutely deserved it. You have to remember that Continuum and Playing Ducks are both fairly new rosters. They had a bit of a rocky start in the beginning of the season, but they both picked it up towards the end and managed to lock out their position. So they're extremely skilled teams. It just took them a little bit to get the ball rolling. Yeah,
I mean, there was a lot of discussion and debate amongst the European community. So, all right, Playing Ducks have made it, but they were joint on points with Pencho. They were joint on points with Youngtis.
Yeah.
Are they really the best team we can send? Youngtis are the Season 2 champions. Could they be better? But Playing Ducks are coming out here and saying, no. We got the same points, but we are here to fight for this. We really deserve this. We really want this. And by all means, they are showing us that perfectly right now. They are the team that could be taking this final. They are staring right down the barrel of it now, and just one more map required.
At the same time, Continuum, probably the best hope for North America. If North America is going to take a PC final, it's going to be this season.
Yep.
So there's a lot of hopes and dreams being placed on their shoulders, not just their own. As see if they can bring it to the third map. Hopefully, but we'll find out together.
Yeah, we will. You say the teams. just funneling back into the lobby. I think we've just about got them all. We're going
Almost
in a moment.
ready to go.
It's going to be, as we said, it's going to be Clubhouse. It's a map which, like Oregon in some ways, like what we just saw, has a very clear-cut expected outcome. Defense wins basement all the time, then attack wins bar all the time.
Well, you know, I wouldn't say that Oregon is necessarily that.
Okay, go ahead.
I would say that Oregon on the basement is we just saw it just now.
Yeah.
Upstairs was the favored bomb site, and it's because teams have had enough time to really pick apart the basement and organize attack strats that pretty much negate any positioning that you can play as a defender. And upstairs is a little bit different. There's a lot more flexibility, a lot more plays that you can play.
So let's get into Clubhouse, our map number 2 here between Playing Ducks and Continuum. Our grand final here for the PC Season 3 Pro League is going to continue right after a quick look at and a quick refresher at where and what Clubhouse looks like. So, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We just talked about it briefly. Basement bomb site, most teams go to favorited first selection, and it's normally a guaranteed defense win. It's going to be Continuum starting in that position, or at least in defense. It's up to them where they go. They are currently selecting Church and Arsenal, and it will go through with that. And it was a very quick set of operator choices from both teams. They have preset plans, and they have very pre-thought out, all right, as far as the attackers go, as far as Playing Ducks go, it's we'll run these operators. They're definitely going basement. This is what we need for that.
I mean, if this is anything like we saw in the semifinals from Xbox yesterday, then this is going to be a weird match. Both of these teams have a lot of skill. They have a lot of strats. They understand this particular map quite a bit. I mean, everybody does. All these teams do. But who's going to come out on top? It's the sort of thing like with MW and versus what's up?
Sledge again.
Sledge again.
Instead of Buck.
Instead of Buck. Yeah, no, that's an interesting choice. You're taking away a lot of time. You're losing a lot of time when you have someone like Sledge instead of Buck, because Buck can just walk up to the floor, break it and move on. But Sledge, he's got to hammer that floor twice, and it takes a lot of time. Sometimes you're going to have to finagle with it a little bit. So I would say Buck is a better choice, but it's obviously Playing Ducks. They have a plan for it, I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll see. Enemy has had work. Maybe there's the SMG-11 too. That secondary being as strong as it is, being very quick to switch to and make an impact when you're going for these quick, aggressive, last-minute pushes. Sometimes just having that over a pistol is enough.
Yep.
So, let's see if that's the case. They are currently droning upstairs and droning the master bedroom and the gym and then the cash room and making sure every other aspect of this map is clear.
Yep.
Yes, it is so common for everyone to run a 5-man defense, but if you get complacent, if you start neglecting that, and that one time someone runs a player upstairs, that's a round gone. And when there's this much on the line, no one wants to be that team to make.
And that's exactly why nobody roams upstairs, though, is because you can just clear the entire top floor, or both of the top, or the first and the second floor, within a couple seconds. It takes almost, I'd say at most, 40 seconds for a professional team to clear the whole building, except for the basement. So there's no real, there's no room to play upstairs.
So, first thermite charge used up on the blue dropper, and then a couple of smokes thrown in to take out the trophy system. Second one on bar. This is what we sort of expected here from Playing Ducks. It's all very standardized. They do have that nice hole made at the entrance to the stairwell, though, because once again that gives them an sight line to the base of the stairs. They got a couple of kills there yesterday in their semis. But Ironic is already pressuring blue, and I can't help but feel this is a little bit too early. He doesn't really have any team support or any pressure elsewhere. There are drones coming from above. There are grenades coming from above. But look at the blue tunnel right now. Canadian and Retro are both sitting there as Doc and Rook, both with their eyes on blue. There's a bandit very close to blue too, and he is horribly exposed if they peek that corner. Now Young's got to focus his attention on the bar dropper now that it's open. Now they're looking this way. MVK doing a similar thing, looking at that door. So Ironic has a bit less pressure on him. Up and above the drop, he still has that man droning for him. Now Panix is going to position around by A, and Canadian does take Zoronic down all the same. So the Blackbeard is gone from blue, and immediately, look at that, MVK position straight back across to the blue wall, picks up a kill on enemy for it. If he couldn't have gone and stood where he just got that kill if Blackbeard was still alive. Yeah. LMs though, however, straight drops and takes MVK out, who wasn't ready for another follow-up. He's now spraying behind the bar. Young is here behind those boxes, does see him and gets him down. A nice prone peek from LMs makes that happen. The smokes are still covering the door, and LMs has got into the plant spot. He's down behind Church, and the bomb is going down. Retro does not have a lot of health, but it is a 3v3 all the same. The heals are coming out from Doc now to get him back up, and the Crocs is trying to keep an eye on what's going on inside that site. Ash tucked in behind one box. Behind the bar, there's also a Capital, and Thermite is still alive here inside the Memorial Dropper. LM's tucked in, has this beautiful angle towards the door. Canadian's going across towards blue. He's crouching in. Top of his head comes into sight just in time for it to get shot. Panix, however, gets one. Meepy gets another, and Canadian trains Meepy back. It's a 1v1 between Panix and Canadian. Canadian is Doc. He has one stim charge left. Panix was in the corridor, so he's checking for that now, but can get side Church. Panix now has to time this push back in properly. The defuse is underway. It's just a one punch. Yeah, peeking around, pre-firing. Nice shot from Canadian. Does he have the time? It's 7 seconds. He's going to start punching it through. 4, he doesn't. He gives it up. First round, Playing Ducks.
An excellent attack from Playing Ducks, but also an excellent defense from CTM. You have to give hands to players like Panix, who just decided to walk into the site with that excellent prone peek and get the bomb plant. There was a lot of pressure being applied from Continuum onto Playing Ducks during that whole attack. You know, what you'd expect is you'd have the attackers coming in through blue, and you'd have the people coming in through Moto. And the blue was completely negated by the defending team, but not before he applied the pressure that was necessary to turn their heads.
Oh, Playing Ducks successfully winning an attack on the basement of Clubhouse, you said. So what we saw on the Xbox last night, and it went back and forth with everyone winning attacks.
They have the most they have such proficient attacks on the site that everyone defends all the time. They're used to it. They expect it.
Yeah, but on the PC semi yesterday, it was a very defense back and forth.
Yeah.
Continuum got so close there too, with a very nice retake back and forth. But as Playing Ducks and Continue Fair, but as they have both done so well all night long, they traded kill after kill within seconds of teammates going down.
Yeah.
And that is so important for a team.
I think the best thing that I'm seeing from Playing Ducks all night is, or even the semifinals, the best thing I've seen from them is their timing, their coordination. They're always there to trade their teammates back. Like the Blackbeard, he died in blue. And that when your Blackbeard dies in blue and you lose pressure on blue, you typically speaking, for the attacking team, the round is now over. But after he died in blue, the attackers just forced their way in through Moto right after, and it just, you know, they didn't give them a couple seconds to recuperate.
That was what's even more impressive. After Blackbeard died in blue, they then lost another player.
Yeah,
in
and
blue,
they still won that round.
And then they came back 3v5 to win that round.
They're always trading themselves back.
Yeah, because the 3 that were left up were just so quick on their toes within each other to make that pressure work.
Yeah.
Beautifully played. Now it's Continuum on attack though. They are quickly sending Blackbeard into the bar, and the Crocs is still journeying around. Like, they are very confident that it's clear. They're still journeying half of the map.
That's a fat finger.
That was a mistake. Yep. Flashbangs. But he's already on his drone, so it's not the end of the world. I think that's what he meant to do. Throw his drone out, throws it down the staircase, and we'll start to look that way. Canadian doing a similar thing. But the drops are starting to be open, judging from the sound of that explosion. Sledge watching. Okay, 2 people. Sledge, I think, is droning blue, it probably is. Necrox is there in case of a flank up there. They are already in the bar drop, but that castle barricade on the door has given Canadian a chance to drop here so early.
I think this might possibly be a church wall take. Has Thermite opened up the blue drop yet?
Thermite hasn't opened blue drop
yet.
It's
a church wall take.
With the castle barricade where it is a Memorial, they get complete control of Memorial. They can do this pipes push. They're fine. They do get these shots coming through from enemy and from gold into pipes itself, but it only downs the Thermite. The charge still goes off. Playing Ducks are in a really precarious looking spot here. MVK is coming through tunnel. Zoronic kills him. That's big. Now they can focus all their attention towards the front edge, towards the church wall. They don't have to worry about blue so much. But it's only going to be a matter of time for Continuum to do something about that. Cow Ball's a mistake from Canadian. It doesn't go far enough in, and that's going to slow down the attack even more. They do still have a minute, but every second counts when you're this close to the enemy. Canadian also lost a lot of health here to Panix peeking around that corner. 2 people still in the blue dropper. But there's still a castle barricade there. Sorry, the bar dropper. Still a castle barricade there, locking the attackers into safety. Enemies over by gold, by the shotguns holds he had earlier. He's prone underneath them for now and just waiting for the call to stand up and shoot. Canadian's close, spraying through it, gets very nicely done. Shoots down through and takes enemy out. Necrox at the same time took out Zeronic. Grenade going to come underneath the castle barricade now. Panics is very, very low. Looking to the front staircase and will fall to the one more player there. But LMs with a quick 2 takes down Retro and Canadian, moves to gold and used the pipe shot to get it out. Necrox came behind. This was the man I'm talking about coming from blue. Yes, you killed one, but there's a second. And inside the church he goes. Does walk across towards Memorial. Does survive it too, as LMs cannot land that shot. The plant is going down in the same spot they planted before, but Necrox won't even let him get close as he peeks in through church and shuts down the rotating Rook.
That was an interesting attack from Continuum. That's actually a Season 1 / late season, or early Season 2, I guess, take on the basement. And it works, I guess, if you're going up against a team who is not ready for it. They're more prepared for the advanced things, the things that we're seeing come out of this season in the late Season 3. And it's a good throwback. It was a good throwback. Also, they played it extremely well. They didn't just rush their way in through church as soon as they got it open. They waited for the defenders to make the mistakes, and they did. They weren't sure where to position themselves. They weren't sure where they could be safe. And in the end, that blue pressure ended up mopping up the defending team.
Yeah, Necrox coming around there after NVK dropped off. Helped dramatically. Continuing then back onto defense downstairs themselves. So 2 successful attack wins on the basement of Clubhouse.
This reminds me of yesterday.
Yeah.
Is it going to continue?
Let's see, that's the trick. Continuum did get very, very close to successfully holding their basement in their last round.
Yeah.
But Playing Dogs clutched it at the last couple of seconds thanks to the defuse timer.
I don't think they're going to make the same mistake twice.
No, Continuum, I mean, they were, as you said, they were 3v5 and they lost it. That's a big blunders to make.
Yeah.
Don't see Continuum being the team to do that.
Not the biggest blunder I've ever seen.
Nope, but...
The semifinals earlier today.
Yeah. So, here comes the Playing Ducks squad. They are, again, droning and clearing out the rest of the map. Doesn't take them too long to get it done. Running the same operators they did before. And will then work to make their push through. Now, Zeronic this time around. How's he going to push through blue? Is he going to be as fast? Is he going to be a little bit slower? Like, his timing there, I feel, could have been a little bit better to have really helped the team.
Yeah, he was
push
a
on the front edge.
little bit early.
Yeah.
He could have waited for his team to start applying pressure from the Moto's side before he went all the way down the hallway and got himself killed. And they're going to be opening up the blue drop. I think they already opened up Moto drop. That's going to be pretty much the same thing we see from Playing Ducks all the time. It's a pincer between blue and Moto. It's very hard to deal with. A lot of the time when teams are dealing with this, they'll find themselves forced into Armory and then completely cut off from the site. And what we have also seen from Playing Ducks is they'll put that arrow in the connector between the sites and deny the players who have left Church because it's all wide open and move to Armory. They'll deny them rotating back into the site.
There's the drops open. Now the grenades come in. I like that one. Bounce it
nice,
off the top
yeah.
of that thing so it kills the barbed wire on the far side. This allows Zeronic to come down, but again, there's no pressure anywhere else right now. He does have this perfect little pixel angle. Necrox is pre-firing into here a little way. Sprays through it in case there's anyone right behind the bomb, but there's the pixel angle. Retro is now at the end of Armory and is firing in here. Zeronic is currently feeling safe from it. That reinforcement that's covering Canadian on the right-hand side of your screen is also helping Zeronic out here. And the drones from Panics up and above the drop door, the blue dropper, are helping him feel safe some more. There's 3 players inside Church.
Yeah, 3 players inside Church. There's still 3 of them. That's a lot. They're risking a whole ton keeping them in there and not rotating. And look, MVK, they tried to rotate.
MVK tried to go the fast rotate straight through Zeronic's crosshairs. He's also pre-firing Necrox behind the bomb and behind that little plant spot they used before. He's hit him a couple of times as well. This blue pressure is working so much better for Playing Ducks, but Continuum needs to do something about it. And if they go too hard for it, look what they've just done here as Playing Ducks. They've opened up a hole into the gold. They've opened a hole into B. They can rotate that way. LMs takes down Canadian. Next, even Necrox goes down to enemy now as well. This is looking really good for the Playing Ducks attack. It's now 2 members of Continuum left up. Young is solo, tucked in behind the bar. Enemy was ready for that spot. Pre-fires it, kept his distance from the shotgun. Playing Ducks, clinical attack.
So I think the record for attacks won on Clubhouse yesterday, it was set yesterday, and I think it was like 5 in a row, maybe 4.
Yeah.
Are we going to see them break that record today? Only time will tell. I want to know who's going to be defending what. Playing Ducks, where are you going? You're going Church Arsenal? They're going Church Arsenal again.
Down again. They again didn't have the worst defense. I think they just... I feel like that castle barricade in Memorial, it's a great barricade. I see why they did it. But if they'd 11 punched it, they didn't have to, because when Valkyrie peeked and shot through from gold, she did a lot of work. She did down the thermite. She did punish them a bit. Now, if that had been 11 punched and Castle could have one-punched it and pushed from the other side at the same time, they could have pincered that pipes. They might have been able to do a bit more damage, but they locked themselves in there because it was completely sealed. There wasn't any punch, there wasn't any chance of
You're absolutely right. It's like, say on Chalet, for example. If you castle barricade the west lobby door, then you can't deny Thermite opening up into Trophy. There's nothing you can do to stop that. So it's the sort of thing where you need to have the flexibility. Yes, castle barricade, super useful, denies them shooting you, right? And it slows them down, wastes their utility, but you also need to have flexibility as a defender. And that's what we're finding out right now, is if you don't have flexibility. Remember the last map, for example. Everyone, they were defending basement, couldn't win a defense on basement, and then they moved upstairs, and they won every round. And it's the sort of thing, is that these teams, they know how to attack a basement. They've been doing it for so long.
And look at how Playing Ducks won that last round. Continuum were locked in these places. The minute Zeranek got into that blue spot where he was, all flexibility Continuum had was gone. NVK couldn't rotate out of where he was. The other guys were stuck in the church where they were. And the teams pushed from Moto and the teams pushed from stairs and just knew exactly where they were going to be because they had no other options.
Right.
And picked them all off one by one. So let's see how Playing Ducks do this. They have already caught on to the fact that Continuum are looking to come construction tunnel this time. Something which we said North America likes to do and does do a lot. Europe tends to neglect. So,
well, they don't neglect it, they just don't do it. Obviously, they're putting a barbed wire and a player in there to try and counter it, but he's just going to fall off as soon as Blackbeard starts applying pressure.
Yeah, he's already gone. You saw Lems was pre-firing a little bit. As soon as he realized it was Blackbeard coming, he is gone. But it is, again, slowing them down. They're now using another drone up, so it's going to take a bit longer. Castle barricade on the front staircase. Nothing on Moto this time. You can see Panix is in there. So they have gone with a little bit more aggressive castle barricades, ultimately leaving them that flexibility inside the site.
Yeah. And this is pretty much a standard take so far. There hasn't been any real engagements happening here. I'm interested to see if Young is going to actually push down that tunnel or if they're just going to take it slow.
Yeah, Retro has used his 2 charges this time as well. They've done it on both droppers, so he's definitely not doing another church one.
I think the castle barricade in this situation is actually be really useful.
Yeah,
because
I mean, it's forced him to use a grenade here.
Oh, there goes.
Yeah, but it's a grenade gone now from Capital. So
waste the utility at least.
Yeah, and I mean,
there's a bunch of players in position to stop this take, though. They're not really... Oh, but NVK on the stairs might throw a wrench.
LMs is taking Canadian now. That's Capital gone, but his enemy down. Perfect timing from Young to push forward. Retro takes enemy out, and then Meepy is gone thanks to Young pushing this backside. Retro got that kill from the drop. That's the man stopping Young through here. Panix inside Memorial now. It's cautious to the front staircase. MVK drones it himself. Panix gets away to safety, looks towards blue. They know there's a man in there. He's got to try and help stop this pressure, but MVK's behind. LMs takes Young out. Now goes Retro down. Necrox is in there with him now. MVK comes behind, takes down LMs, but MVK will be stopped by Zeronic. There's now one attacker left. It's Necrox. He sees Zeronic and takes him out inside the A site. 1v1. Zeronic could be revived. But does Panix feel confident enough to do that? Necrox is planting inside B. He's faked it.
Oh!
Perfect stand up. Takes Panix's head off.
Pros apparently fake.
Pros do fake.
That was wonderful from Necrox. I assume there must have been a drone on the floor in blue, and he got the perfect call. Nice snap onto the door with the pre-fire.
That's not quite right.
Yeah, that was a mistake. It is in fact 2-2,
2-2.
not 3-1.
Continuing back onto defense, they are also feeling confident enough to go downstairs.
Yeah, they're gonna keep going downstairs, as you said. I'm guessing that they don't want to put too much risk into defending a bar. But it's interesting because everybody's winning attack every round. Nobody has won defense on the basement yet, and a nice even scoreboard coming out from both the teams, except for LMs, who is dropping 8 kills and forcing this out.
Yeah. He's been that static play. His Rook is phenomenal. He's just been sitting in the sights. He's been sitting in his spot. And I mean, the MP5 is a great weapon, and the dude is clearly very skilled with it. And yeah, it takes a couple of his teammates dying, admittedly. But as soon as he knows where the attack is coming from, he's just excellent and clinical at just jumping from person to person and shutting each of them down until Continuum can swarm him enough and can pincer him enough that he can only shoot at one when he gets shot in the back, sort of thing. And as a result, his score is skyrocketing, but it's just not quite translating into rounds.
MVK, in the contrast, as a player, what he's good at doing, or what I've noticed he's good at doing, is being flexible, capitalizing on the options that are given to him. And there's not a whole lot of options on Basement Clubhouse. It's pretty straightforward. You look this way, they look right back at you. You know, there's not a lot to go on. And that, like you said, that's why Lems is capitalizing on that right now.
So here comes the Playing Ducks attack once more. They have done the same thing 2 rounds over now.
You gotta shoot again.
More or less.
One more time. It's still making noise.
Yeah. Now, last time it worked out, Zernik had a very big impact from inside blue. First time he was killed, though. What are Continuum going to do differently here? Well, to begin with, there is now a pulse aggressively inside Memorial. We'll see how long that lasts, though.
I wonder what he's going to do in there. Because they open up Memorial every time. Is he going to try a C4? Oh, wow.
Oh, Retro goes down. Meepy has pre-fired that corner every time they open that drop.
Yeah.
He's pre-fired it. As soon as the charge goes off, he stands up, pre-fires it. Perfect play from Meepy to get that kill on Retro.
Suppose Retro, what he was trying to do there is counter the pre-fire with his own pre-fire, but he didn't pre-fire. He just waited for him to peek.
He may not have known that Meepy had been pre-firing that spot every time either, to be fair.
Well, then why be sitting...
It's a valid spot, right? It's often where they first peek from. If they aren't expecting it, you can get them in the head.
I suppose, yeah.
But...
just worked out for him in this situation.
He didn't think Playing Ducks would be ready for it.
Yeah.
Were. He's not been there every round before. He's been further back. He's been away. So he wasn't expecting the pre-fire. So yeah, that shows Meepy's diligence. Every round you do it 100 times. You shoot this X window at the start of the spawn 100 times, not get anyone. But the one time you do, it could be helping you on the way to a Pro League championship.
And here we're seeing pretty much the same thing we've always seen. Pressure from blue. Still a lot of people huddled up in A. Are they going to rotate out late? Are they all just going to stay there this time? What's going to happen?
Oh, Necrox's feet were almost on Zeronic's screen there. He's also hit Zeronic. Zeronic has hit Necrox and Canadian with his spray through this wall. Forces Necrox to move around a little bit more behind that bomb. More drones going in through Church and giving him more information. LMs takes an MVK. Now Zeronic gets Necrox finally through that spot. LMs holding the diffuser. Young sitting safe behind the bar, trying to help Canadian get up, and he will do so, but the plant's already gone down in B, and now these two have to kill 5 people, and look at the health on Playing Ducks. Zeronic finally takes a bit of damage, but he's still Blackbeard. Inside Memorial, Young takes down enemy. It's a good kill. He's got a bit of health left. Canadian has been tagged up again after being downed once, and they are still in a 2v4 situation. Zeronic pushed further back inside blue. Inside the staircase, there is a thermite. It is Meepy. He's pre-firing. Can already hit Canadian, but he will fall. Canadian can't get the next one, though. Zeronic will kill off the bandit. And another attack win on Clubhouse Basement for Playing Ducks.
Oh, attack wins on the basement. What an interesting day. An interesting match on Clubhouse. It's kind of seems like all these teams...
we're seeing no changes from either squad.
Yeah,
like, it's the same attack again from Playing Ducks.
It's over and over.
Again because Continuum
the defense doesn't change.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is, Basement, Clubhouse... what are you going to change? What are you going to... where are you going to move them a couple feet to the right? You know, where's your positioning going to change?
Play NVK's Jaeger inside Blue Dropper. Fill it with Jaeger systems, fill it with more barbed wire, get rid of that Blackbeard.
So play aggressive on the Blackbeard, try and get him out of the game early.
Because you've shown that he's not scared of coming down that tunnel very early on. He's not scared of getting deep into there. They do grenade out the first barbed wire, that's fine, but the second they grenade out that first barbed wire, you know where he is.
Yeah, that's a lot to invest in. I would assume if you're going to do something like that, not just Jaeger, but I would also put a couple players there. Just force him out. Have him. You hear him start coming down the hallway. Rush out, take him down, then move your way out into construction and start applying some actual horizontal pressure.
By all means, if it takes more than just one, but the thing is, like,
I think you're right though. That's a good way to force your way out of it.
Has dismantled them now 2 attack rounds in a row.
Yeah.
If you want to keep trying basement, you've got to clearly try something drastic.
You've got to counter it.
Yeah.
But we're not.
And you're not. You're just sitting there and hoping that he misses his shots.
But to be also, neither is Playing Ducks.
No, it's just Playing Ducks, exactly. So, like, let's have a look at this, and we'll go and do the same to Playing Ducks. What do they have to change? Because they have also been losing their defenses down here.
We'll find out.
So, they did do... to be fair, their defense changed drastically between the first one they lost and the second one they lost, but they both resulted in the same thing. They both lost it. So they need to try something different again. They did just there. You saw Panix jumping out onto the hot tub, spraying down towards construction and seeing if he could get a cheeky kill. He didn't, but he also survived. So he's still in the game. He's still a factor here and has gone down towards the basement stairs. Continuum droning the rest of the map. Need to level this score out and get a pit back and keep it at 3 rounds to 3 to help hold themselves in this final.
Playing Ducks not going to let them take from construction tunnel, not this time. But that doesn't look like that's their plan. Looks like it's going to be Moto blue drop take, much like what Playing Ducks have been doing. And as such, they're going to rotate their player, one of their players, out, well, both of their players out of tunnel.
Young takes down Zernik straight through this front corridor. Blackbeard, of course, was in the tunnel before. He's now on this front end. So Continuum switching things up ever so slightly. No castle barricade on this front door either, which there was in the last round.
You think it's going to be another church wall take? Oh no, they already opened both the drops. Excuse me.
Both drops.
Or did they?
No, they didn't. There's only
They
one
might
drop
not have.
open. There's only the bar drop open right now. Castle barricade on blue.
We'll find out in a second here.
Castle barricade on the
A
bar
bomb
drop
has been
too.
located.
I don't see the third one.
It looks like it's going to be a church wall take. It did work out for them the first time
Here
they
comes
tried it.
MBK down blue tunnel, so
Yeah.
we've got that back pressure. He's safe from the
Yeah, because
armory
the
door,
castle
thanks to that
barricade.
castle
They don't even
so-
need to open up the
Yeah,
drop.
he now has free roam of these 2 kill holes, these 2 cruel holes.
You open up that drop to kill anyone playing in blue or hold the door, and neither of those are a problem right now.
Yeah.
So
So MBK can pick this spot nicely, and he's going to grenade over and behind the A-bomb. Does down Panics, nice and easy. Easiest kills MBK is going to have had all day, I'm sure. There's the church wall opening again. The pre-fire in towards LM's position to try and lock him out, but he didn't get the right spot, and LM's gets a great shot on Canadian. He waited to reveal himself. He waited to the right
This is
spot,
a nice
gets
spot.
it nicely. Enemy, though, has been downed in and by armory, and that's the protection from MBK gone as well. Enemy could have been the guy that flanked on him. Retro pushing in through blue, through Memorial towards Meepy. Young exposes his hands, and LM's does shoot at them. Tracks him up a little bit more, but can't put him down. Meepy inside church now is in trouble. There's Young revealed to LMs, and he will be put out of his misery. Enemy coming in the backside, but MVK's finished him off. Great shot from MVK, takes down LMs as well. Meepy, the last man up. He clutched it yesterday. Now he finds one more as he drops in from bar. Retro and MVK inside the site. Holding out that shotgun to take down the drone. Finishes off the downed player. Right on the other side of the reinforcement is Retro with the diffuser. NVK was over by Armory. Is he ready to receive Meepy through this doorway?
5 seconds.
NVK is spotted. NVK lands the SMG-11 fight. Meepy falls and another attack win in the bag for Continuum. So we stay at 3 rounds to 3.
So that's 6 in a row.
This is the point where Xbox switched yesterday. Now we saw a defensive
Actually, I think it was
team.
5.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, but
Still.
all the same, it's gotten pretty late. It's gotten later than Xbox, actually.
This is where he's started to go to bar, but Continuum are still
Hey, look,
refusing
Church
to
Arsenal.
change that. Let's see if they change operators, maybe. Maybe they're doing something on that front, or are they going to go with the same again? It's the same again. So, running those same operators, running
Attackers need to
downstairs
locate
once
and
more.
defuse as many bombs as they can.
No, they don't have a dock. Young normally runs a dock.
No, Duck. You're right.
So they are going with the bandit instead. Where are you putting him?
I would imagine church wall, but why though? Because Playing Ducks haven't been doing a church wall attack. To be also, hey, something to mention is that the last defense we saw, I think that was the closest one yet.
Yep.
I think they almost won, and it was because of Alem's spot in Armory. That was a wonderful kill hole. I'd never seen that before personally. He's got protection from the shelf, and he can also peek out in that. It's just basically a pixel spot.
Yep.
It's perfect.
There's not a whole lot you can see inside that blue area, but if you get that, I mean, the perfect headshot you got on Canadian, the perfect headshot he then got on the Blackbeard, it's with the good reactions, with good aim, you only need the one bullet. As it is though, Playing Ducks droning on now through. Their attacking setup is again identical to what they've been using before. See how they execute it. Downstairs, things are starting to take a little bit of shape. Young is still down there with his team. He's not doing anything crazy or aggressive or using his speed to play on the stairs and run away. He is still inside church with his squad. Is that wall not reinforced at church? Is it only 2? Or is it done on the other side? MBK, maybe.
It looks like it's not reinforced. I'm not sure.
Maybe they've left one open. I don't know if it's intentional or not. But look how many players here are aggressively up at the staircase for Continuum. They have 2 people at the doorway looking up for it. So running slowly into the tunnel this time around, not so heady on. Necrox is here with his smoke this time. He's normally deep inside church. This time he's over by blue. Maybe he can make an impact here at stopping that Blackbeard.
It looks like it's going to be another blue moto drop take from Playing Ducks. No variation here. I'm guessing.
No trophy system there though.
Yeah.
Those 2 smoke grenades from Meepy have killed off a trophy system every time before. Now there's no trophy there.
Yep.
He does still use his charge in the same spots.
I'm guessing Blackbeard is somewhere in the blue tunnel right about now.
Is there a C4 above here? There's 2 players sitting above here, and he's heartbeat censoring it.
They're going to try and play aggressive as soon as they start
Still
pressuring.
got his C4.
This is them. This is okay. This right here. This is Continuum trying to fight their way out of a bad situation. They know they're going to lose this defense if they just let Playing Ducks apply the pressure. So they're trying to apply their own pressure.
That drone nearly kills off Canadian. Grenades are going to come down now, take out the barbed wire. Doesn't do any serious damage. More holes being made directly above Canadian and then VK's head, and they do now sprint away. So they're forced back into their site. But it's used up a lot of the utility here from Playing Ducks. Necrox is going to peek into the shotgun. He's ironic,
tried.
smart play. He fell back and just survives the shotgun blast. Takes down Necrox, but Retro will trade Panics. Panics dropped into blue, and when there's no Blackbeard in there anymore, Retro could take him out for free down towards the back of Armory. So it's a 1v1 trade. MVK playing with fire, stays alive. Zoronic didn't hit him at all. LM's note is now down through Memorial Drop and is looking to the front corridor and towards the back of Armory. Retro's the only man over there, but he can't breach in because the barbed wire is in a good spot this time. The wall was reinforced from this side, so it is locked up onto Church. 4v4, not a lot of health on Zoronic at all, and as a result, he's deep in blue. NVK from blue with a beautiful shot onto Meepy. Locks him down and out. Young inside there with Canadian now. Canadian will fall to LMs and Ash. NVK gets Zyronic finally down in blue, and that frees him up to move around. Retro takes enemy down, but LMs has pistoled off Canadian. It is 1v3 for LMs. He cannot finish off Retro. He's got not a lot of ammo left in this gun, and he knows NVK's around blue. Into the church he goes, and finally, we have a defense win. Continuum hold the basement.
That was a good round from Continuum, and you saw there. What is a basement defense? Well, it's turtling, hiding in corners, and hoping that the attackers can't get the angle on each and every one of you. And that's what we've been seeing happen so far. They've been getting those angles. They've been setting them up. But what just happened...
Blackbeard was gone.
Blackbeard
he didn't die to that shotgun, but he was pushed all the way back in the tunnel, and he couldn't go into the fight anymore. And that gave MVK complete free roam of that blue spot himself, which helped them hold Memorial, which helped them hold Church, and it changed the whole dynamic of that round.
Yep. The aggressiveness from Continuum really paying the bills there, winning them the first defense round of the map, and hopefully for them, obviously, going to be putting them into the third map, which is Bank.
Oh.
Which, by the way, if we get to Bank, that's a toss-up. I have no idea.
No idea which one of these squads is going to take Bank.
Yeah.
LM's, though, trying his absolute hardest right now to make sure that doesn't happen. 4 rounds to 3 in favor of Continuum. This is going to go to overtime if Playing Ducks can win themselves a round.
But can they, though? And because from history shows, I mean, they just broke history, Continuum just broke history, but history shows that the defending team loses in Clubhouse Basement, apparently, in this match. And if that trend continues, if Playing Ducks don't do something similar to what Continuum did, if they don't, like, apply some ridiculous amount of aggression out of nowhere, or, I don't know, play some roamers, if they don't do something special, they're going to lose this round again.
Castle Barricade on blue then from Panics. Also note that I'm not entirely sure why, but Playing Ducks aren't a fan of crawl holes or walk holes or whatever. There are prone holes into blue on all of these angles. Yes, it makes it slow and maybe it
saves ammo.
Saves ammo, makes it slow for the attackers to then use them against you, but it also makes it slow for you to rotate through them.
I'm not entirely sure what the thought process is in there, but I'm sure they've discussed it and came to a conclusion.
An interesting thing to take note of later on.
Yep.
As Continue and make their way in towards the bar. Anyway, they finished journeying out the majority of the map. It's time now for them to push on forwards. 1 charge in the bar drop. Now, are they going to save the second one for the church wall, or are they going to go and move it over towards construction? Or towards bar drop, blue drop.
Blue.
Words. Too many B's. He's holding it now and heading down the front staircase, but that's not to say it won't change.
Clubhouse.
Door being opened up. Young here again now.
Blue drop.
No one exposing themselves to him this time over. Zoronic tried to cross here last time he did this, and Zoronic paid the price for it. This time he's staying deep within blue.
You know what we haven't seen from anyone yet? A B take. We haven't seen a B take.
True.
I mean, we've seen a blue
in his spot again. Look,
moto take.
He impact nades the pallets to allow him to sit in that spot.
Impact nades have been extremely useful for these pro players, setting up a lot of different positions. There's one on this map, there's one on Chalet, there's one on Hereford. There's a lot of different things you can do now with impact nades that you couldn't previously, because wasting a C4 just wasn't worth it.
Canadian checks out and clears this entire corridor here. then immediately takes note of the wall.
And it's another...
Now my charge is going off. LMs is spraying through it. He kills Retro and survives, and Retro didn't get to trigger the charge.
That's overtime right there.
That charge is not going to blow. It's now 4v5. No thermite charge on the wall. Canadian and Continuum have to push through some very predictable spots. NVK coming down the back of blue now.
You'd think
Kicks
that...
is called overtime.
You'd think that based on the last time they tried that attack, seeing what LMs did from that corner, they would try to counter it. Maybe send your sledge into kitchen and open up above him to deny that.
It's ironic fall to MVK. The pre-fire was there and he walked into it. Meepy's gone down in the back of Church as well.
Ooh.
This 4v5 is looking good for Continuum. Panics behind the desk, loses Meepy to the fireball but stays alive himself. LMs will take Canadian out. Again, he's the stand-up player. NVK takes down enemy from inside blue, but then will survive himself on very little health. Panics goes down inside the plant spot and the Church plant is going down by Necrox. LMs has to find 3. 2 of them are very, very low, but they have got him pinned. NVK inside blue doesn't have to stand up. He just knows he has to keep him busy. Hiding behind the reinforcements. Necrox has gone to the front staircase. Blackbeard staying in on the diffuser. This could be map 3 right here, or LMs is going to go huge. He downs MVK. He moves towards the corridor. He exposes himself to Necrox but survives it. Finishes MVK off. Looks towards the corridor. Takes down Necrox. It's just Young. He's got all the time in the world. He knows of all the spots. He's checking every corner. He pre-fires it, but Young kills him. Continuum take us to map 3.
Proved me wrong. That was crazy.
Any other operator than Blackbeard, and LM's had that.
Yeah, just
any other operator.
Shield in front of the face, something covering the body, and there's nothing you could do. That was well played from, honestly though, at the same time, absolutely well played from Continuum. Nobody expected them to, as soon as that thermite died, they had no access to the site other than just Moto, the hallway, and Blue. And they were down in numbers. 17 kills from LMs. This is 14 kills from MVK last match. Now 17 kills from LMs. It's almost as if when the stars show up, they can't win. It's weird. But that was a very intense match. Honestly, I expected that to go to overtime as soon as the thermite died.
I have a feeling every highlight clip in our set of replay here is just going to be LMs.
Yeah, well, in that match.
Yeah, in that match. Wow. All right, so Continuum kept their train of attacking the basement successfully on the go to ultimately round out the series. That one defense win they managed to pull off broke the back of the round.
Defenders have located the
So many clutch shots hiding through. LMs though. It's gonna hurt. First round there, Canadian just didn't quite have the time for the defuse. It was a very strong retake again from Continuum, just a little bit too slow. All these rounds here where Zeronic gets down through blue, puts all that pressure on, becomes a massive pain in the side of Continuum, and they couldn't hold because of it. Then they finally push him out. They finally push him with that shotgun. They push him with the smoke. And even though he kills the smoke and he survives it, he's then too scared to push forward. He has no health left. He sits right the way back in blue. MVK then takes over it again. He takes control of the blue dropper. And that entire map, I feel, was decided by that blue box. For every attack round, the attackers held that blue box and therefore won the round. As soon as we see attackers lose control of that blue box, they lost the round.
I agree. And you know, honestly, this reminds me of the matches that we saw yesterday, a lot of them. It reminds me of the one we saw on Xbox, where everybody was winning the Clubhouse attacks, but it also reminds me of MW versus Playing Ducks, where both teams are winning their attacks flat out because they have different plans and different strategies that the other team's just not familiar with.
Maybe.
That was almost a nice clutch.
It was almost, and there it is. There's that play. Necrox, yes, you fell, but every moment
so
from
much
there,
damage.
Blackbeard was so far back.
Yeah.
And LM's, he must have felt great about that kill. He must have thought like you did. That's it, that's overtime.
Yeah,
we got it.
The round's over.
Killed the thermite, they can't get in, but
they just walked in.
Yeah.
And they let them.
We can't get through the wall, we'll just go through the doorways, and no one was stopping them.
Yeah.
Playing Ducks missed all their shots. I don't know whether, hey, maybe like yesterday, they got a bit complacent. Oh, this is it. We just relax now and just shoot.
And that's what we saw from the other team yesterday.
Yeah.
And I guess it maybe wore off a little bit.
Yeah, there it is. Pushing in at the end. LM's picked the right spot. He pre-fired. You saw the first bullet hit the shield.
Yeah, well, not just the first bullet, but the first couple bullets.
The first few bullets hit the shield before he even started to fire. These players are raring to go and want to get straight in. Let's go to map number 3. It's going to be Bank. It's Playing Ducks versus Continuum. This game decides our champion. This game finds out, is North America getting its first ever victory?
This is kind of a blank slate map. I'm honestly not sure which team has the better footing on it, which one's put in the most practice. I would say if I had to play, if I were a betting man, I would bet on Continuum winning this. purely out of forceful skill. That's what I expect to happen, because that's what happened in the last round there. We just saw it. Forceful skill. Sure, the Thermite lost, and the strat went out the window. Okay, and now what are we going to do? We're just going to walk in. We're going to kill everybody, and that's exactly what they did. And that's what I think is going to happen on this map. I think it's going to come down to player skill, individuals, and we'll find out. I'm a little bit worried about Alem's dropping into... He might actually drop, who knows, maybe a 20 bomb on this map. It's pretty similar to Clubhouse.
If he dropped a 20 bomb last map, they'd have won.
Yeah.
If he gets it here, I'm sure he'll be happy with the same outcome.
Yeah.
So, as to the attacking lineup here, Lems is actually running himself no Ash, but Thatcher instead for this attack.
Well, that's interesting.
So
it is a slower map. I guess it kind of makes sense. It gives you a lot of more flexibility in terms of HP. But, you know, it's like Clubhouse Basement, right? You're not dealing with a whole lot of moving around. It's mostly just, here's the angle, here's the lane, hold that, play that.
It also helps with attacking through server and taking out the trophies,
Yeah.
and taking out any batteries or moots or whatever that might stop the thermites on the walls that are needed. You can clean out the entire A site of electronics with a couple of well-placed EMPs. So
Yep.
can see that being used nicely. As for the defense, very familiar looking lineup here for Continuum, except they brought in themselves the Valkyrie in place of what could have been the Doc or the Bandit from previous rounds. And on a map this damn big, not a huge surprise. Those cameras, those Valkyrie cameras, the extra vision they provide are a huge, huge deal breaker.
Yeah.
So they are going to hold server. They've got MVK and they're putting down a couple of trophies. They got Young behind the server rack itself, and as a result, that trapdoor is reinforced. If they can force Playing Ducks to use one thermite charge on there, that's a win. You can fall back out of server from there, and you're looking good.
They're taking it very slow. They don't want to risk anything. They're making sure to drone all the different places the roamers can be, and they're covering every single different flank. They have somebody above, they have somebody watching the kitchen cubicle side, and even somebody watching the archive side. They're just positioning themselves above tower here. Not even, I don't think they have anyone in tunnel. They're just going to go straight down the stairs.
Yeah, they are going straight down the stairs. There's a Jaeger at the bottom. MVK peeks out and loses the firefight because of the shield. Look, immediately replaced it. He takes so much damage to that, he cannot keep using it.
Yeah.
The thermite charge does go off on the trapdoor as well, so that immediately puts Young in jeopardy. He is now trapped there behind the server desk. MVK, I think, ran a long way out.
Interesting grenade.
Yeah. Grenade goes down. There's a player upstairs from the defense. MVK and Canadian are upstairs. They're flanking from behind. They are looking at Young behind this rack. He wants to peek out. Blackbeard is waiting for him. There's the C4. She survives it. It goes off. It kills the Blackbeard. Young with a huge, huge play. Now Panix has replaced him. Young's still got a lot of health left too. Upstairs, MVK has taken out LMs on the flank. He's also taken out Enemy. This is huge for Continuum on the first round. Young gets down Panix as well. He then falls into the fire, but it's only MEP left alive, and MVK cleans him up. Just like that.
He just walked around. He's
round
like,
one.
all the way from server, walked around, and killed everyone from behind.
Yeah. So, you're all coming from server? Take. All right. You've pushed me away from the staircase. I'm going to just go straight up the back stairs, come through kitchen, come through open office. What are you going to do?
And that's not what you expect at all, honestly.
Oh.
And Playing Ducks, you saw, they didn't expect it. There were no claymores in place. There was no one really watching it anymore. They had all diverted into a server take, and it cost them.
I mean, you expect a flank. You expect
we
it in the
did-
last
yeah,
45 seconds of
exactly.
the round. You expect one, maybe two players to have a deal with it. Maybe the first one dies.
But he just walked up.
No, he just walked straight up. 2 minutes left on the round. He decides to come out the back stairs. He kills three people.
As soon as he saw that Blackbeard, he shot him in the shield, and he was like, oh, okay, I can't do this anymore. Then he just left. He went upstairs, and yeah, the rest is history.
And on top of that, I can't take anything away from Young, too. The way he stayed behind that server rack when the trapdoor is
That was a
reopened,
beautiful
with
C4.
a Blackbeard peeking him,
Yeah.
the C4 kill on that, then the second kill on the Capital with a firebolt in his face, too. Like, beautiful, beautiful composure and discipline to land those shots and to stay that firm in such a tight corner.
Absolutely.
So, Playing Ducks, what have you got up your sleeve? That's how Continue are going to play. You've been matching them step for step up until this point. You're going to continue that phase here. We are looking at Enemy here. He's going to sit in this staircase. Look, we've got a trophy system in there. We've seen that before. He's got a shotgun on Valkyrie sitting inside.
It can be dangerous, but it can work. We'll find out if it works for him. The risk that you run is...
You see that hole?
No.
They didn't reinforce the A wall, the normal plant spot. They've just made a kill hole there instead.
Makes sense. It means that you can't place a breaching charge. The only thing you can do is you can sludge it if you're lucky, but pretty much just Ash. That's your option. Sometimes not reinforcing a wall is to your benefit. If you know that they're going to thermite it, you don't necessarily have to reinforce it.
All right, we'll see if they can punish it well. There is enemy bottom of the stairs getting droned out by Young. Shots onto the doorway. MVK's already inside very aggressively with that sledge. Panic's underneath them, is tracking them with his heartbeat sensor at the moment. Letting enemy know when to be ready for someone to come down. MVK at the moment is covering the flank that he just pulled off. Ready for anyone from playing decks to come that way. We've seen Zeronic likes to be that guy, that Jaeger himself. MVK just did it on the same operator. Be that late roamer. Early for MVK, but still, Zeronic does it later. He likes to come up from behind. He likes to stab people in the back and punish them that way. But not always been the most successful play. And with MVK watching that angle, he's hoping to make it another unsuccessful round. He's now moving towards the front edge. Canadian up here with him. They don't want to use these thermite charges too early. Canadian's droning the front lobby, checking that out. That's one of the downsides of Bank in many ways for the attacking team, is it's so big.
There's a lot to cover, yeah. A map like
is
Clubhouse, you can't roam because you can just drone on everything. But on Bank, there are actually spots that you can roam on the basement. You can just sit and wait for your team to be... oh, wow.
Panic, C4's up through the hole, takes down Young. That's the Blackbeard gone. Enemy gets back into the bomb site safely with him too. So they forced them to use a thermite charge on the wall. Then they see 4 of the Blackbeard dead and get out to safety. So a great start for playing Ducks defense.
That's going to give them a lot of options too. Blackbeard off the board on a map like this, applying pressure to the server. Yeah, you're going to have to fight those angles raw without the shield.
Retro taking his second thermite charge, and he's going to put it above the A bomb site trapdoor. They have seen that this wall is unreinforced. They know he doesn't need it here, so he does get that open. But can they still make this count? And Lems is looking through the hole, and NVK has the better angle thanks to how low that is. He then punches it on open. Meepy's tucked down behind the desk in the red corridor, I believe.
I think he can actually... Yeah, you should be able to see him there.
Up and over.
Yeah.
Yep, there we go. Shot from behind the B bomb. Zeronic with a tight angle onto MVK's face. They do down Meepy with a grenade, but the smoke charge is already out, which should allow Meepy to get back to safety and get revived before they come in. Canadian's dropped, he's in the corridor. He does take down enemy, pushes in on the revive. The last second bullet puts him down before he gets the 2 of them. He's downed underneath the pair. Panix now is going to get flanked from behind as Necrox comes on in. Looks towards Red, but Panix has killed Retro inside the site, and that's the diffuser down. 4 seconds. Necrox has to get in and plant or kill 4 people. Zyronic ends up cleaning up the 2 kills. Continuum gets so close, but Zyronic is there and waiting and halts it all.
That was a last-second save from Zyronic at the back, playing by those elevators.
Yeah.
And honestly, I thought that round was going to go in Continuum's favor. As soon as I saw Canadian, I start ADSing on those 2 guys, and it was like, oh, helpless, poor guys. And no, it went the other way. It's kind of strange. Look at Mouse.
Zyronic with clutch play to stop that shot coming out of Canadian's rifle.
Yep.
Attackers need to locate
and as it is, they successfully hold defenses. So both these teams now forced to go upstairs. Now this is where we might see our first divide from these 2 squads, because the 3 bomb sites to choose from up here, teams seem to have very varying opinions of each one.
Well, between cubicles and tellers, not so much basement. Everybody defends basement typically.
Yeah, I mean,
but
the follow-up.
Yeah, but the follow-up, obviously you're not going to be going CEO, because that's, well, it's a terrible site to defend. You open up yourself to even lines of sight from the other side. Oh, that's a nice camera. Yeah. You open up yourself to lines of sight from the other side of the map, over on the parking garage. But between teller and cubicles, now that's the choice you have to make, and it's a tough one. It really is. When you're, and it looks like, I think that Continuum's going to be defending above tellers. That's odd. The main downside to both of the site, both tellers and cubicles, is the site could be opened up entirely from above. There's nowhere to hide. If the attackers bring a buck or something along those lines, a sledge, and they just start opening up above you, there's not a whole lot you can do besides C4 or challenging them, and that looks exactly like what Continuum is about to do.
So, as it is, it's a very spread defense from Continuum. With the 2 upstairs, MVK downstairs. 2 on the site.
It's interesting that they had their pulse play upstairs. You would imagine he would be the guy downstairs trying to shoot up and support his teammates. Whoa.
NVK very close. Oh, he did actually get tagged there with the last bullet at Zeronic's gun, but I think even Zeronic realized what he just did. Canadian now, heartbeat censoring him through the window. Hides behind the bookcase a bit safer. Isn't at a distance that he can see it. Are you going to make this play?
No,
Is this
no
worth
way.
for a Blackbeard?
I mean, it's definitely worth for a Blackbeard, but no way. I don't think you can actually vault out those windows.
You can.
You can?
Yep,
you can. And he does it. And there's the Blackbeard.
There's the kill.
Oh, he's going to go for the tunnel.
Towards the tunnel.
He's
not going to make it, though.
It was worth it.
It was definitely worth it.
That was the worthy sacrifice.
Meepy Once again, the trusty trade there to answer it. Blackbeard gone, though. Continuum going to be very happy with that. As I say, as soon as I saw his Canadians, he did this on Hereford yesterday, all the way through the semi. It was him jumping out of windows that really slowed down the Hereford game. So
he's sacrificing himself for a noble cause. Now that Blackbeard's out of the way, the rest of the defenders don't have to worry about challenging an angle and losing. They can just play the firefights, and that's what they're good at.
So Necrox playing upstairs. Well, they have lost here now is the heartbeat sensors to fire down through the floor. So they've got to keep track of it. They've got to keep track of the men inside. They don't have any cameras on the bomb site. So if these guys in the site die, Necrox's got to pick his spots perfectly. Young sitting there on the A desk. Retro at the back of the B site, firing in, and we'll be watching the doorway.
MPK's kind of playing
at the top
fire.
of the staircase, yeah. Watching towards elevators. Meepy on that thermite. Has no barbed wire to contend with. Retro takes down LMs as he peeks that side door.
Now, you and I talked about this earlier on this attack, or on a map on this particular site, is why do people not take the wall next to stairs? So much valuable, it would have gotten
Young gets taken out as the push comes in. Panics gets credited with the kill. MBK is pushed up from the aggressive spot, and he's there just as Necrox comes. They're going to go for a double flank. Enemies inside the site. Meepy now behind the desk holds the diffuser. Enemies inside B, and it is 3v2, but Panics and Meepy immediately there with their answers. They take control of the site, turn it on its head, and hold the Continuum retake.
Do you notice how they focused the defensive, focus on Teller's side, and they had people coming around for the flank on Archives? As soon as the heads were turned, they came in, swooped in, and picked up the kills.
Necrox jumping from up top, MVK coming from elevators. MVK, though, waited for Necrox to make his push through to tell him, okay, the left side of this door is clear. But that was too little too late.
Yeah,
At that
waited
point,
a little too long.
P-Ducks were already dug into the spots of the site, the spots which his own team were playing seconds ago,
Defenders, protect your bombs
and they couldn't get the kills. And here we're talking about it. This is the divider men. Playing Ducks have a different opinion on these second bomb site go-tos, and have chosen open office and kitchen.
Well, you know, you could say open office is better in a way because you have more flexibility. You don't have to hold above. And what we saw there from Continuum is that when they held above, they were too spread out. They couldn't hold the site. And you don't have to hold above on this particular site necessarily because there's so much to work with. You can, if they open up a couple holes, you move to the other side of the site. There's not a whole lot of pressure on you to play in a particular area. Whereas with Teller's Archives, there's not a lot of flexibility.
Oh, let's see how they do it. P-Ducks sending enemy upstairs to do the trapdoors at the moment. Reinforcing the walls to Archives itself. They've also reinforced the walls kitchen to Skylight. So, Necrox moving with MVK down towards the garage. Will he repel on the windows and fire in through the lobby, or going all the way down and under? Looks like he's going all the way around the back to the loan office, jumping up on that police car and coming in through those windows. Young has droned the lobby and will tell him it's clean and safe if he believes it's so. And then checks the elevators. That's one of those spots which a lot of people neglect. So if you tuck yourself in one corner, no matter how much they drone the upper floors, if people just ignore those, you can sneak out and surprise people. That's what you're talking about with how big this map is.
Yeah.
It's corners like that that help you win as a roamer when you're defending the basement. Canadian running our first buck of this event, or this final, as Panix is there with a pre-made hole up towards the stockroom. This is one of the advantages of having a thought-out strategy for this site. It's okay, they can get above, they can do a lot of damage to us above, but we know they're going to do that. So let's make holes first and shoot back through them when they come to it. Now, he didn't quite get the headshot, he didn't quite get the kill he required, but Canadian, you can see, was very hesitant about getting into that room and continuing to make holes in the floor after those first few shots.
They're kind of isolated. The defensive team right now is kind of isolated in kitchen, as you can see. They have one player in A, but other than that, they're just, I guess, working for the retake. There's a drop down right above, actually, right above enemy. They just capitalize on that.
One of the beautiful things of the A site, though, is while it looks to be filled with stuff, most of those desks and everything on them is completely penetrable.
Yeah, there's no really to hide.
Yeah, so it's actually not so hard to shoot from kitchen into that site and win those firefights.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that plays off for playing Ducks, because it seems to be, as you say, what it is they're trying to rely on. Everyone from Continuum right now is up and above that A site and above the different trapdoors. They've used both thermite charges, one here in the back corner, the other one, I believe, in the corridor. Canadian is also then up and above that little stock cupboard with holes in the floor looking down towards what's below him. Necrox has gone and joined him as well.
Not a whole lot of time left.
52 seconds. Playing Ducks are all eyed in this direction, looking and waiting. LMs has already got his spots on the bottom of this drop. Retro gets down and gets away with it. The plant is already going through. No one's stopping this. Necrox is low, but Panix is the first man to fall. There's the C4 from enemy to stop that plant. He was the lone man inside A, and he was tucked in behind the bomb. Checks the camera again and sees the man defusing. MVK, though, baited it again for a second time, and enemy gets himself killed this time over. No one there to stop the plant now. Playing Ducks have no one else with eyes on him. Meepy tries to peek and expose it, and he exposes himself to Ash, but actually kills him. MVK gets the plant off, but is now back on his feet with his gun in hand. Smoke comes out from Meepy as LM takes down Canadian. NVK is taken out by Meepy. Young is now again alone against 3. He's got to stop the defuse. Meepy doesn't know where he is. There's 2 players upstairs trying to find him, one above the diffuser. They have the time to take their time and find him. One drops down, he drops him. He gets Meepy, but LMs is there to answer and get the defuse. Young and Continuum coming so very close, but now Playing Ducks are up 3 rounds to 1.
Excellent
First time
play.
we've seen a team with a 2-round buffer for quite some time.
Yeah, an excellent play from Playing Ducks. They didn't take any risks there. They threw all of their bodies at the last guy. But before that, the Valkyrie hiding underneath the table to kill the guy they knew they were going to start planting in that corner. That was really impressive. That's just them knowing the enemy team, knowing exactly what they're going to do. But for the most part, other than that, it was just a retake. They were setting up entirely for a retake. I mean, Valkyrie, yeah, he got the initial kill. He set the tone. He forced them to put more bodies on the floor. And then the rest of the team just came in for the cleanup.
Things like Meepy killing that Ash up through the trapdoor as well really hurt them. Like Ash not getting that kill really, really hurt the defense of that bomb. But Continuum do have a chance now to go back down into the basement, set up their defense again, and hold this site.
This is extremely dangerous for Continuum. Obviously, we all know this is the one map to decide who will be our finals champions for Season 3. And Continuum are now down 2 rounds. As you said, this is the first time we've seen this in quite a long time, and it's not looking good.
Continuum were considered by many on their way into this tournament the best hope North America has ever sent to a LAN final.
It has been said if North America is going to win a final, this is going to be the final.
Yeah. And, well, right now, they're on the back foot. They have had tougher games. They've had oh, sorry, not tougher games. It's
tougher comebacks?
Toughest. Bigger comebacks is what I'm trying to go with, yes. They have overcome challenges quite a lot to get here.
First 10-0 in Pro League history.
Exactly.
Not against the Slouch either.
Nope, not against the Slouch.
Flipside.
Flipside Tactics, a team who have been at the 2 previous Grand Finals playoffs.
Yeah,
so,
that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, let's see if they can overcome this. Playing Ducks, though, are playing out of their mind right now. Meepy, as we've talked about it all week, he is the newest addition to the team. He is one of the freshest faces, so to speak, in the European pro scene, and has been really making his mark and showing the world that he is here to stay over the whole course of this weekend.
I mean, he's been around for a long time. I know he's got a long history with this game, but yeah, like you said, this is his first time making it to finals.
So, Playing Ducks are reaching that server trapdoor, but they don't realize Canadian's up and above them and tracking them all on his heartbeat sensor. So
it's the same basement attack that we've seen them do, even both teams do throughout this entire match.
NVK is also up and about on this top floor.
They're ready.
They are ready for this retake and they're ready for this flank again. Very fast. Not the last 45 seconds that most teams do. Not the late rotates that most teams do. NVK and Canadian are in place to do this now. Look, he's already hedging down through the elevated corridor by metal detectors. Canadian mirroring him from up and above. I take that back. NVK's going the other way. What is the plan here? Canadian's getting closer to the enemies. NVK is going to avoid the metal detectors and go in through tellers and archives, but still get round behind. Enemy is at the top of the server staircase and he's watching one way. There's also a man in the kitchen, but that drone sees NVK and he turns to run away, go back towards elevators. They are inside the A site downstairs. Zeronic is looking for people towards red. They've got the wall open. They're cautious of the trapdoor above. But as I said, they have players upstairs. Canadian has been downed. LMs is also up there watching the flank. Enemy is watching the flank. The smoke gets slightly misplaced, and Meepy gets on in there to start the plant. Shots are rattling across over the top of his head, but the plant is going through. The plant's going down. Continuum can't stop it. The C4 goes out and doesn't touch him either. Meepy gets out, but double kill. Young takes Zeronic and Meepy down in a quick burst. Enemy's now coming down from behind, trying to fire onto Young, who hasn't pushed the diffuser yet, so enemy goes back up and watches up top. Panic places his drone for the dead men to watch for him. They can keep their heads in now. NVK coming behind, but LMs is ready this time. Fool me once, shame on you, and not again. LMs takes down one, but there's another one to deal with now. Canadian's up and above the trapdoor. Enemy's coming down. Canadian's going to drop, but he drops straight into Panic's fire. No one on the diffuser yet, but Young has pushed behind the servers. Necrox grabs the LMs as well, and Enemy is now alone. He can drop, he can see the diffuser. There's not enough time for him to kill all three, and Young will keep Continuum in this fight.
That was an extremely good round from Young. I think that was a 4K. Yeah, because it was at least a 3K, but I think it was a 4K, and also the bomb clutch defuse. That was very well played. I feel as if the last player on Playing Ducks there, he could have waited just a little bit longer before dropping. There's no way that the last defensive players are going to risk it, and all you need to do...
They must have killed off the drone, the Panic's placed down.
Yeah,
because they had people watching it, and if that person was still watching
But you can still hear the defense from up there. I know you can hear the defense, or the fuse, rather.
Yep.
But that was a really good play from Young, keeping them, like you said, in this match, keeping their hopes alive.
There must have been less than 5 bullets coming out of his weapon there that killed both Blackbeard and Meepy.
Yep.
That alone is an achievement. Killing 5 bullets to kill a Blackbeard, that's an achievement. 5 bullets to kill Blackbeard and Thermite. Very, very important kills for him to pick up there and help swing that round.
And you know, it's great. What we're seeing from both these teams is we are seeing players step up, right? But it's not just NVK, it's not just Panics, it's not just Meepy, it's, you know, Elems and Canadian and Young and just everybody on the team. They have their moments, they really pressure the other team and get those, well, let's be honest, Young just saved their dreams.
Yep, he did. Would have been 4-1 right now. It's
would have been really hard to come back from.
But 3 rounds to 2. Playing Ducks reinforcing that wall this time, not making the hole there, not losing LMs to that silly angle. Yes, it's going to get blown open, but at least force them to use a thermite charge on it.
Attackers have dropped the bomb diffuser.
Instead of letting them get
They're
the
playing
trapdoor
in
as well.
garage.
LMs is here at the moment. I mean, we've seen him do this in the past, right? Play in unexpected early positions, get that early kill that no one's expecting you to sit, because that's a ranked spot, or that's a casual spot that no one thinks you're going to do.
Sure,
here.
they'll drone it.
But yes, as soon as it's droned, he runs away. It's also one of these spots that, yes, it can get him early, easy kill if he's lucky, but he's also super, super, super safe.
Yeah, he doesn't take any risks. As soon as he sees a drone, here's a drone, or gets bullets whizzing by his head, he just dips out.
Yep. He is currently actually still in there. It's the longest time we've seen him wait to one of these spots.
Well,
but the garage
he
is
hasn't
also
had
not
any,
a bad place.
Yeah, he hasn't had any prompts to leave yet.
No. Upstairs though, Necrox with Canadian's drone, roaming around, checking it out, clearing it out, taking out every camera they come across. Down underneath them, there is a bunch of squad mates pushing towards that back staircase once again. That's why he's up there and watching that flank. It's the flank that Canadian just did against the Playing Ducks team, was coming through the upper set of elevators, while MVK came through the lower set of elevators, and Necrox is now there to make sure they don't use the same strategy straight back against them.
And it's the same exact take that every team has been using for the basement.
Enemy staying inside the stairwell this time, though. He has been droned. They did drone him last time and shake him out of there, but he is holding firm this time over.
It's very difficult to get a Valkyrie out of there with the Jaeger device.
Especially as she has that camera too, looking and watching them come her way.
Yeah.
Last time they blew
and a
the
Pulse
trapdoor.
making calls for her.
Last time they blew the trapdoor and Pulse managed to C4 their Blackbeard as well. That's another thing that people need to notice here.
I don't think they're going to let that happen again. They're backing way off.
To try and for Retro, the C4 goes up. And Retro got across and inside Archives. So that C4 was not touching.
Like you said earlier, fool me once.
Yeah. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice.
Nope.
Shame on me. So, Young comes down the staircase now. Canadian and MVK continue the drone chain in towards the bomb site. Bout camera killed off quickly. LM's in by the doorway. Enemy does move as soon as he kills that drone because the pre-fire was right behind it from Young. Here's the thermite charge now onto that wall. It begins to open it up. And Meepy is going to try and keep himself hidden this time. It's going to be easier now because last time he was grenaded from the trapdoor, and that's what shook him from smoking. This time, the trapdoor is closed and will stay closed. Shots coming from behind the B-bomb again from Zoronic. Hits Blackbeard, but nothing serious. And Zoronic, you cannot stand into that same spot again.
That's a shield, bro.
Down he goes. The plant is being juked out. And oh, the pre-fire through the wall. Young has an idea of where Meepy would be and gets it right. Canadian rushes on in now afterwards. Young has got LMs pinned in the doorway. LMs cannot peek out. The plant is going down, but the C4 will stop it momentarily. NVK now to pick it up. Young, though, picks off LMs in the corridor. Here comes Necrox down from behind. There's only 2 defenders left up. One of them alive, one of them down. Enemy is that man. He's picked up 2 kills with the shotgun. He picks up a 3rd with the Desert Eagle onto NVK. Necrox is now in a 1v1 between enemy and the shotgun. Panics is down inside the A site, has eyes on the doorway, but the diffuser has been planted. Necrox is coming in. He's pushing into enemy, but the flick shot from Necrox shuts down the shotgun spree of enemy, who nearly did it again. How many times have we seen enemy win rounds for Playing Ducks with that Valkyrie shotgun? Necrox
Many
says
a
no
time.
more.
Many a
and
clutch.
Keeps Continuum alive.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a really great job by Young and Necrox. I think it was a 3K from Young, and then a 2K from Necrox right at the end, 1v2. Very impressive stuff.
Very well done indeed. 3-3 then, once more. Tellers and Archives go to Continuum. They did not win this last time over. This was the beginnings of that
Attackers
lead
need
that
to
Playing Ducks
locate
built
and
up.
defuse as many bombs
Have
as
they figured
can.
out what they did wrong? Have they figured out how to adjust and make sure they can hold this time? Time to find out. Ultimately, their fall down last time was having the 2 roamers upstairs be too slow.
There was nobody playing the site because they just pushed in with a Blackbeard, they got the picks, and then the flanks wouldn't matter because they turned at that point.
Time then.
It's when the attackers become the defenders that the defenders lose.
Yes. Drones hiding all over the front lobby here for Playing Ducks. Another one found by Young. Another one found by picking them all off. This is big.
Yeah, that's actually really important. A lot of people misunderstand the importance of drones. They give you, they're basically like wall hacks. Is that what you, it's in the game, you can use them, and it's wonderful. You got to use them to your advantage, not let them get picked off like that.
A few trapdoors upstairs there, pre-breached by Continuum. Allow their rotators extra routes, allow their roamers extra avenues to return to the site.
Oops.
Oopsie daisy. Maybe didn't quite mean to fall off that soon. Enemy going to join him now coming up as well. And they will start to have a little sight through that skylight. NVK once more being the man below. As we said, we had Canadian and Necrox on the top floor last time. NVK in the basement. Now Canadian sacrificed himself to lose and kill off the Blackbeard. NVK and Necrox stayed alive till the very end. Let's see if they can all time it a bit better this time. Canadian's still doing some last minute preparations, putting down some final bits of barbed wire, and then comes upstairs to join Necrox.
This is an interesting little avenue they set up upstairs. But again, is it going to cost them, as it did the last time they tried to defend Tellers? They didn't have enough presence on the site, and that's why they lost.
Panix is now here in the lone office, looking out towards elevators lower, and will we have to cover elevators upper if MVK peeks from that angle? That's where he came before. Necrox and Canadian still up top. This castle barricade's keeping them safe from the parking lot and similar areas, but they have to go and get through them ultimately to be an impact in the round. 2 players inside the site. Young, same place, behind those A desks, same as he was before. Retro, inside the B site, same as he was before. Now, LM's not going to peek this doorway again. He fell down to it last time over. Sees the shots come out towards that drone and is cautious of a peek to follow it up.
Their flank hold is gone. Panix has left the lone office, and NVK is now going to pressure that.
EMP is coming in. Thermite charge is going to go off and blow that wall open. MVK has changed his mind about coming up the stairs because there was a drone waiting for him. So he's going to go up the back edge instead. He'll come in towards the archives room. Canadian, though, peeks out, takes down Meepy for the first kill of the round through the floor towards the doorway.
That's a nice spot.
Very nice angle, and it was the diffuser drop. So LM's had to go and risk it to pick that up. Does have it in hand now, though.
But it doesn't matter. He's already opened what he needs to open.
He's already opened his wall. Young inside A. They now know that Canadian's up top with a nice angle. In through the door goes enemy. Young is spraying onto him and gets the kill. Canadian's got one more, and Retro is taking down LM's. Zeronic's the last man standing. He's right out back on top of these windows. He's now got to come in and 1v5 in 30 seconds. This does look like Continuum are about to take themselves the lead in what we've already stressed is the deciding game. This map picks our champion. This map picks our win. Zeronic now pushing forward. 20 seconds on the clock. Sees MVK and can't even land the first frag. Continuum 4 rounds to 3. Match and playoff point.
Season 3 point. It's the very last point. If Continuum can win this, it's all over. And it's kind of surprising because Playing Ducks were up 3-1. So this is this is 3 rounds in a row. That's quite the comeback.
So, where are we playing this round? Playing Ducks, are you going up to Tellers and Archives? Are you going to the basement? It seems you're going nowhere. They are calling a timeout.
Yeah, we're going to have a timeout.
So, it's on to our admins to decide and confirm. We will find out in a moment. They do pick a bunch of operators and pick a bomb site, just in case. See what our admins have to say. Continuum seem to be static and okay with it. Playing Ducks is beginning their setup, just in case.
we'll get a confirmation on what the decision
Until then,
is.
let's have a look at how the last defense of this site went for them. Ultimately, horribly. Until enemy went in and nearly 4K'd with his shotgun.
Okay, I'm gonna say this. Okay, so we will have a timeout.
Yep, we'll be having the timeout, so
but
this round will be reset.
may as well. Oh, hey,
Also,
I've seen
Panic
this
is
before.
currently inside an elevator.
Yeah,
Nice.
Seen this before. It's yeah, that's the fun one. Anyway, what I've noticed throughout this entire finals with every single team is that sometimes it just comes down to less strats, more skill, and the team on attack who can apply their skill, apply their initiative the best is often the team that wins.
Yeah.
And we saw that in the last time they defended, like you said.
Yeah.
Young just got a 3K, just right off the bat. He was just playing angles, got a 3K. And then Necrox came in from behind by himself and got a 2K to lock out the round. That's what I'm talking about. Is like those aren't strats. They were in the right position and they managed to put down fire and win their engagements. That's what that was.
Yeah. So it's there and it comes down to it, and it's tight. Do you see players being escorted to the bathroom by our admins? There we go.
I assume, yeah, somebody really had to.
So let's again, you say it came down to it was individual skill, and it does happen from time to time. It comes down to players having to just step up, pick up those kills, land those frags, go with it. But what do Playing Ducks have to do from their last round to not put them in that situation again?
You know, I'm not really sure. I guess a counter step up, another player to force their way into winning the match, just win all the engagements and kill all the people, because that's what it's coming down to. It's really all it's coming down to. It's not strats. It's not, oh my gosh, if they do this and they're opening up this wall and that's crazy, you know, we've never seen that before, how do we counter it? It's just, well, they're winning fights. They're shooting us.
I mean, it's not even that. Look at that last round. Blackbeard pre-fires Meepy through the wall because he knows he's going to be prone underneath it trying to smoke charge. He gets Ironic through the back of the V-bomb.
Oh, that was a fantastic setup.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how do you stop Blackbeard killing 2 or 3 of your teammates? You go to Lems as well in the doorway. You killed 3 of your teammates from that spot as Blackbeard.
Yeah.
Before you could even start fighting back. Then enemies had to step up because those 3
And that's why Canadian jumped out that window to get rid of Blackbeard, because if you can get rid of Blackbeard, there's so many things that you don't have to consider anymore, so many different angles that can't be played by the attackers because there's too much risk.
And note the first round that they did successfully win, Playing Ducks defending that, was because that C4 through the trapdoor from Panics, from the Pulse, killed the Blackbeard.
And they learned from that mistake and they didn't let that happen again.
Exactly. So now Playing Ducks again need to kill that Blackbeard from being inside and to stop him bringing that server room or something.
Yeah.
Or find another way to stop the plant at least, because Smoke wasn't getting that done anymore. Everyone knows how Smoke does that and everyone's ready to stop it.
Yeah.
Do you have an idea? Do you know what it is? Could you just add the 2 roamers that Continuum been playing?
Well, you could put a shield in Red Hall. They did have a shield in Red Hall. They had it put facing towards the garage.
Yeah.
You could face that instead towards the wall to let Smoke do the same exact thing he's always been doing. But that's kind of risky all the same, because then you're going to get an Ash charge or you're going to get a grenade coming your way. And yes, you can put all of your trophy devices there to stop that, but it's investing a lot of resources in one specific thing. And generally speaking, the server is the main point of contention, but sometimes teams have been known to, like for example, Necrox, he went stairs. He went around. He decided not to engage them in a full frontal assault, and that's one of the reasons he won that round.
So, there's ways.
There's ways. You can do it.
Not ideal.
It's about where you want to invest your resources, and it makes sense. In my opinion, it would make sense to put all of your ADS devices to stop those grenades going towards that shield, and have that shield there so your Smoke can deny the plan. But that's up to the team. You know, that's what they get to decide to do.
So, players are funneling back into the lobby, just making their way back to the stage now. You can see it. They will be going again in a moment. I would love to see, don't get me wrong, this is just the straight fan of me. I'd love to see Playing Ducks stick a couple of roamers out and try and flank that server push, because that's going to get explosive, that's going to get fancy, we're going to see lots of shooting and lots of kills, hopefully, one way or the other. But it's not necessarily the safest strategy. It's not something you can really do without practice. It's not something you can do without planning and thought beforehand.
When you have, and we've seen roamers, they don't have no plan at all. They actually are coordinating together. The pulses, when they roam, they have a Jaeger nearby to actually be their hammer. Instead of forcing their way out, switching from pulse to weapon and then trying to make a play, they have somebody else in a position to make that play for them and make that call. But I don't know. It's when you're putting yourself in a map like Bank, there's a lot of dark space because the map is so large. A map like House, for example, or Clubhouse or Oregon, it's a lot smaller. Clubhouse, you can drone out the entire 2 top floors and not have to worry about them on a basement defense. And because of that, it becomes then a top-down for the attackers, and then they get to apply their initiative wherever they please. They get to do whatever they want. But in a map like Bank, it's not the case at all. The defenders have so many options, but like you said, you're putting yourself in a blank space, in a it might work, it might not work sort of situation.
When there is your share of $75,000
Yes.
on the line, more importantly for I think both of these teams, without a doubt, the title of Season 3 Rainbow Six Pro League
There's
champion.
a lot raining on both of them. There's
You don't want to go into the unknown.
Yeah, for playing Ducks, you're right. You don't want to take those risks. But for playing Ducks, you've got not only, like you said, the $75,000, but also Europe has won every single PC finals so far. They have to keep that dynasty alive. They have to keep that going. There's a lot on their shoulders. But also for Continuum, this is their chance to bring the trophies home to America. There's just huge regions are at war here between these two teams.
And as you say, everyone already dubbed Continuum to be the best chance NA has ever.
Yeah, if Continuum doesn't win,
possibility they have.
Yeah.
Of winning this.
If Continuum doesn't win, what are America's odds in the next season?
Now, if there is a next season.
If there is a next season.
Still major announcements later to come today about whatever the hell. We don't know yet. But certainly
in the
future. A lot of waiting. So, as the players you can see are back there in their chairs, they are spending their last couple of seconds while we wait for the final remaining man to sit down. We're going to run to a short commercial break and come back when he is ready with the culmination of playing Ducks versus Continuum. This game, this next round, could decide the entirety of this season for PC.
Yep.
Do not go anywhere, guys. You do not want to miss this. Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen. We have an update for you. One of the two teams has submitted a protest on an incident that happened during one of those last couple of rounds. As a result, and in the interest of fairness and making sure this is as level a playing field as possible, that is currently being investigated by both our admins and Ubisoft devs in Montreal. We've called them up, woken them up, got that going.
Yep.
So while that is being looked into, while that has been investigated, and make sure we get that right, we need to decide whether or not we're replaying that round or not. And as a result, that's going to take a little bit of time. We're going to run to another break while that happens and come back to you with, obviously, the result. Everyone's hoping for the fairest possible outcome.
Yeah.
And, we'll get this game done and resolved as soon as possible with the result as is determined. See you in a moment.
See ya.
Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen. We do have an update and development for you. It has been determined it was a bug. In the previous round, Canadian used a top-down kill hole onto the doorway of Teller's home and killed Meepy, killed the thermite who held the diffuser. That hole cannot be seen from below. That is a game bug that has been recreated and determined by Ubisoft in Montreal. As a result, we are replaying that round. The score is now 3-3. Small saving grace for Playing Ducks. They have another chance, but unfortunately, no one wants to get that because of a bug.
Yeah, no, but it's still 3-3. Both teams have any chance of winning this match. We'll find out what happens, but you're right. The lead has been taken away from Continuum, and it is unfortunate that happened. Obviously, it was unintentional, but here's where we are. 3-3.
Yep.
And
3-3, continuing back on defense, continuing to bank. The players are all back in the lobby. We'll go on it in just a moment. The basement bomb site technically is locked still.
Yeah, because they won it.
Yes, that is still locked, so they are going to have to go upstairs. They could go Teller's Archives again. They obviously now know not to make that hole. Or they can switch it up and maybe go to that open office or kitchen.
I foresee them going to Teller's again.
Yeah, I do too.
And it looks like that's what they're going to do. It's what they've practiced. It's what they're used to. And it's what they have experience on.
Okay, yeah. Teller's Archives is their selection. Their operator choice, identical once more.
Yep.
And the attacking setup for Playing Ducks. Can't remember if they used this last time.
I think that's pretty much the same, yeah.
It's the Ash. Or was it Thatcher last time? I think it was Thatcher last time. LMs was running Thatcher and got right up to the wall. He had the Claymore, I remember all of it.
Yeah, no,
you're right. It was
right.
definitely Thatcher last time. So he is bringing in an Ash. Interesting. Let's see what they choose to do with it. Because she's normally used in this map specifically by most teams to watch for flanks and to kill off roamers. But there's a lot of places to watch for just one operator here.
5 seconds
Yeah.
left before
I'm curious to see if they're going to be doing a lobby take or if they're going to be doing what they did last time, which was a bit of a split.
Sensor deployed.
We'll find out in a moment. And also, is Canadian going to jump out a window and kill Blackbeard?
I don't think Blackbeard's going to go anywhere near those windows.
No, not
I
again.
mean, the Canadians not afraid to do that.
Never again.
They are playing those two players upstairs again. Necrox, by the way, has already taken half his health in damage, so he was exposed somewhere, probably to parking, as they do have players rappelling over here again. You can hear him firing off some shots as well. Now, Hollow Sight through here panics. If you land these shots, you are a god amongst men.
Yeah, that's kind of an odd choice, playing a holographic sight on those windows.
Maybe wherever he heads to after this is going to require the Hollow Sight. That's just a small side note. The rest of his team are all on this back end too, so
looks like they're going to try and open up into the back of CEO and get rid of those roamers.
It does look like they're going to try and clean them out. It's the first time they'll have done that. Every other time up until now, he's on those side windows actually. Every other time they've been attacking this side, they have just ignored it. Oh, Canadian gets the shots off onto LMs. He is down. Doesn't look like the calls come out because the rest of Playing Ducks are just playing as if he's still on his feet. Grenade goes through the thermite hole. Canadian has now been revived as well by Necrox, so those two roamers are back up and on their feet upstairs. The Ash is down and gone. She didn't have her charges used, but that's not the biggest loss of operators if these two can kill these guys off without further contest. Canadian inside. Necrox is exposed. Enemy does kill him off. The drone now here. Sorry, the hobby sensor of Canadian doesn't tell him the enemy is right outside the door, and he steps straight into the fire from Skylight. 3v4. Panix has lost a lot of health. Holes in the floor already made thanks to the impact nades, thanks to the rotate holes made by the defending players. One of them may expose something for Playing Ducks to use, and that is exactly where Zaronic is now to look through. The wall down here below him, currently all reinforced. That's going to lead into Archives if they choose to use it, and he will drop into the open office itself.
It's worth noting that, yes, they have gotten 2 defenders off the board, but they also only have 1 minute left, and they have no access to the site. It looks like they're going to try and get their way in through this stairs wall, which you were talking about earlier today.
Yeah, I asked you why people don't do it, because everyone has 2 charges, everyone uses one on the wall. Open this one, even if you don't push in through here, you scare people.
It's a lot of angles denied, too.
Yeah. But now they are going to go for it. It does take Young off of that A desk where he likes to sit before. It pushes him further around the corner. There's now 2 people that can cover this if he pushes over. The C4 comes out again. That's the second time Young's done that, and he gets 2 people with it. Enemy takes MVK, but Young might have just done what it takes to win this round. Meepy has the diffuser out there. Enemy's there with him, but it's a 2v2. One of these players has to plant for 7 seconds. That is a long, long time. Around the corner, aggressively comes Enemy. He takes down one, but gets traded straight back by Retro. Retro's inside B, but Meepy gets him. Meepy picks him off with Thermite's rifle. Once again, helping Playing Ducks forward. 4 rounds to 3 in their favor now.
That was an absolutely insane round from Playing Ducks, and we saw from Young there putting his foot forward, trying to give his team the round, but not quite enough this time.
So very close. Young with a beautiful C4 without exposing himself up and over
And he's
the cabinet.
been doing well this entire match.
Yeah.
Throughout Bank, Young has been getting 3K after 4K after 3K.
Now they're on to attack. They're going down into the basement. Now normally you'd say, all right, it's a basement defense on whatever map, and maybe not the Clubhouse, but you'd put this as a really tough round for Continuum. But in all honesty, Playing Ducks' previous 2 defenses of this site have been very lackluster.
Yeah.
They've got to think up something differently, do something different.
The majority of the time that we've seen throughout this entire match has been the attackers are winning, whether it's upstairs or downstairs. And we'll see if Continuum can replicate that.
10 seconds remaining.
So, reinforcements all setting up in the same place. Enemy putting a lot of his cameras in the same spot too. They haven't been killed off in most of them. They are making that hole in the wall again, not reinforcing it. Last time they did that, LMs fell prey to it before they actually got any benefit from it. And it allowed them to open up the A trapdoor above the site, which gave the attackers even more strength. They downed the smoke with a grenade through that hole.
You got to question their decision making there. You wonder if they learned from their mistakes in the previous round.
So, drones coming in. Back alley spawns from most of Continuum. It is going to be a server push looking from that setup. So, Sledge comes in through open office. MVK is there. Retro's already droning it for him, clicking out most of the areas. He's been this player to sit and watch the flank for at least the first minute of the round every time to now. Enemy sees the drone but can't kill it. But then MVK will rotate around in that area towards the kitchen and towards the stairs himself. They're content that no one's going for that early rope.
And this is the same exact attack we've seen time and time again on the basement. Everyone sets out on square or skylight stairs and in that square area and tries to put pressure onto server from above. Now it's interesting to see that no pressure at all from tunnels. Usually you do a wombo combo there and you bring both ways.
Thermite charge goes off, trapdoor is open, they immediately back out. Panic's not trying to C4 up through it, not trying to catch that back bid this time. Keeps his C4 and keeps his life intact. That wall now has a far bigger hole made in it too, in case you didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Huge one at the top and the small one on the bottom. Makes breaching it very hard without an Ash. Something which they do have on Necrox, but he likes to go around the garage, he likes to go around the stairs. He's not in the servers.
It's worth noting though as well that they don't have that shield we talked about, nothing to protect the smoke. If they try and get that plant down, there's nothing they can do to stop it if Young gets the angle.
LMs did just see Sledge peek around the corner but couldn't land the shots onto it, and Young then goes to peek it. Makes the hole that bit bigger, gives them a side in, but it's not an easy way to plant now. You've got to vault over that. That puts you very deep in the room. LM's peeking his backside out to where Young is looking to spray, and he will fall prey to the Blackbeard again. The trapdoor at A was opened up, and that's what forced LM's that far back. He couldn't stay so close to the door with the trapdoor open.
Yeah.
This is what you risk by leaving this unreinforced, because you can get that extra thermite charge off.
And this is one of the reasons why Blackbeard is so good on this particular map.
Meepy forced away in red corridor. More shots coming through onto MVK from inside the B site. Young is looking to try and punish this player. Meepy starts throwing out the smoke grenades. 43 seconds on the clock. Only 30 can be denied by smokes, so he's starting them very early. But if they can force them down to the last few seconds, that's where enemy has shined in the last couple of rounds, so they may not need all the smokes. Sledging the wall a bit further to make it easier to get in and plant. Two more smoke charges just got used. But yes, they're having a tough time. Necrox has to make an impact, but enemy's waiting there for him. He's trying to figure out how to get through. Capital Ball's coming down from A towards the wall, keeping the smoke locked in. There's the plant coming through. Young's picked up 2 already. Young is looking to fire this, but enemy's there. Panics gets one with a C4. Enemy gets another with a C4. The plant is down. Necrox kills off enemy, and is now Panics against 2. NVK's inside server has the diffuser in his sights. Necrox was from behind, but is rotating up and over the top and going to join NVK at the trapdoor now. Drone's being killed. Patiently pushed forward by Panics. He comes to a reinforced door and has to rethink. He's going to go up and over. The metal detector is still going off. Necrox is watching it. Necrox misses the first few shots. Panics starts to fire. They're both missing a lot. Panics is going to try and switch to his pistol, keep the push going. He doesn't have a lot of time. He can't get the kill anyway. Necrox keep Continuum alive. And we're going to our 5th and final round for each team.
Just barely avoiding the end of North America and these Season 3 finals. Putting it 4-4 and going into the overtime.
5th and final round. What the hell am I talking about? Overtime rounds for each of these teams.
Yeah. That was an extremely close round.
Yes.
There's a lot to say about that round. You had Young playing the Blackbeard that we know. We've seen Blackbeard play before, and I think we're going to be having a pause here, actually.
No bomb sites are locked, so I...
Oh yeah, because it's overtime. We're going to be rehosting for the overtime.
We do have to rehost because we need to decide who is starting on which side. That comes down to the teams and the admins and coin flips. So it shouldn't take too long what it comes through with, but let's look at that last round. Same thing that they fell prey to last time. The C4s, keeping them till delay was much better. Panic's got one, Enemy got one. They did start picking up kills with them, but they weren't the Blackbeard, and Young just tore them apart.
And I was extremely worried. To be completely honest with you, you're right. They were falling victim to the same exact thing that they fell victim to last time, but in the end, the attack started falling apart with those smokes. Were keeping them. He was chain smoking them out of the plant spot. There was nothing that they could really do before Canadian came in with his fire arrows and just got right up in Smoke's face and denied him that the last third smoke.
Yeah, those are what everyone is fighting for. The Season 3 Pro League Champion trophies. Playing Ducks looking to continue that European legacy. All 3 seasons going back to Europe if they can pull this off. Continuum looking to break that curse.
Yeah. Hopefully bring it home for North America.
Players are all back in the lobby. We'll be going in just a second. No bomb sites locked. Overtime rules, of course. It looks like Continuum are defending first.
Yep.
From the way they're set up in the lobby right now.
Now, you would say typically on Bank for the basement defense, you would say that defending first is maybe better. Or you could also say that it's worse. For what we've seen today, I would say that it's actually better for the same reason that you would think it would be worse. Because if you defend first and you lose, then you're going to be getting to attack again and then defend on the same exact bomb site. So that's going to put you at a 2-1 and win the overtime.
Well, let's find out where they go as the game is loading back in. 3 possible rounds. 2 are all any one team needs.
Yep.
Playing Ducks looking to attack. Continuum's current selection is the Lockers CCTV room basement. They have time to change it. They have, however, picked all their operators very, very quickly. They know their roles. They know their jobs. They are confident in this choice.
I think
they are going downstairs.
I think we've had enough timeouts for this match that everyone's like, all right, let's go. We're ready.
It's true. So, drones coming in for Playing Ducks. Let's see what they're going to be greeted by. Young setting up his first camera there in CCTV. If it doesn't get spotted, it will help a lot. We've already seen how much work Young himself has been doing on this entire map. Each of these teams has had one player to step up from map to map. Oregon, NVK went huge. Clubhouse, Elements went huge. Now, Young has been stepping up on Blackbeard and on Valkyrie on defense, and Enemy has been stepping up here for Playing Ducks.
It's been Necrox and Young for this map. Like you said, Enemy on Clubhouse, it was LMs. He dropped a whole lot of frags. NVK has been he's been a huge driving force in the semifinals, even in the grand finals. And Meepy and Panics, the same for Playing Ducks. They've been doing...
Meepy and Panics yesterday in the semis. That's what got them here. They're 2v5 clutch in that last round.
Exactly. It's been fantastic from all of these teams, all of these players. They've been really... No one on either team could be considered a slouch.
No.
They're both very, very skilled rosters.
And here comes Playing Ducks. They are back to using Thatcher. LMs is there. There's no more Ash in this mixture. Let's see how they use it. Shield there from Necrox is doing the same thing that Playing Ducks used it for earlier. Blocking off the garage peak, blocking off the protection to Smoke. As Ironic is heading right through the top floor.
Just trying to hold that flame.
Yeah. Oh, MBK's at the bottom of the staircase. That grenade, moment of fear as he now does back away into the bomb site. Young will follow. 1 thermite charge down.
Now that means that typically speaking, they won't be able to get the drop down above the site, which is going to give the defenders a lot of options.
That's why LMs is playing the Thatcher here, by the way, the Claymore.
Yeah.
Now some would argue
Twitch
could do the same, but he preferred...
the
Oh, the C4! It got shot! It got shot.
No
Young
way.
survived, but the C4 didn't go off.
That was almost a game-winning play.
Oh, and there goes Necrox. Zaronic fell to that same kill spot, that kill hole himself multiple times, and now he pays them back. Young went for a huge play. He sat on the desk. He's now on another desk and is peeking aggressively around the corner. Zaronic wasn't even ready for that. That's a surprise for him.
Caught him off guard.
Panic sprays in, doesn't touch him again. There's now a man at the door. Young stands up and takes another shot or two. The man is taking a beating here, but can't make anything work. Pulse trying to flank, but Enemy is not letting that happen again. Not this time. NVK is still up elsewhere and hasn't joined the fight yet, but Meepy's taken Young down inside the site finally. Meepy's trying to go for a plant, but he's being pushed away by Retro. Here's NVK. He does kill the Blackbeard, but he's immediately traded out by enemy. Retro has 3 to find. Meepy doesn't have a lot of health, and is trying to get the plant down. He's prone inside the doorway. Panics is throwing grenades over. Enemies come down to help there. They know where he is. They know he's not flanking. Enemy pushes forward, kills Retro, puts Playing Ducks 1 round up again.
You can hear the energy coming out from Playing Ducks right now. They're at 5 to 4, and that was honestly quite the round to be putting forward in these coming into these final rounds. That was insane. It was to some people that might have been just your standard server take, but they did it perfectly. They got the Blackbeard in the position, as you said, that's been doing work throughout this entire match. Can't be shot in the face, but can play those angles onto the smoke, and denied any sort of counter to the plant spot, but in the end it didn't matter. There wasn't anyone left on the defensive team.
Need to locate
Playing Ducks on defense, also going downstairs. Young is back on Blackbeard. He has been the bane of this round, of this map, of this bomb site for Playing Ducks.
And it's worth noting that he's also on the basement been the same thing. And if that C4 hadn't been shot, which by the way, holy wow, that shot, that saved them that round.
That shot, which also, by the way, was basically between Capital's legs and didn't hit him.
It was insane. It was like, oh, there's a C4? No C4. Stop it.
So the setup goes through. The reinforcements, they're back to reinforcing that A wall now. They're not going with the kill hole there. LM's realizing that he dies to that every time. At least make them use a thermite charge to make it happen. The A trapdoor as well being left open because of that wall is just too damaging to their defense. So they've sealed it up. Meanwhile, Young is setting up with Blackbeard. Enemy and Panics were trying to shut him down before. They were trying to do everything they could to kill him off early. They've started to go back to a slightly more passive option and taking him out later. Young himself on defense switched that to the aggressive role.
Yeah.
He tried to C4 in. He tried to wait patiently on the
And that's what's been working for them.
He tried to peek. And yeah, it so nearly worked if that C4 hadn't just been shot.
You know, it's like you have certain levels of the game, right? And on the, you have the first level, the second level, the third level. The part where you start shooting C4s that would otherwise end the game for you, that's like the 4th level. That's insane. That's crazy.
Minute gone. Look how safe Continuum are playing this. Checking every inch of the top floor. Necrox has done this every time, but less speed involved this time over. Canadian droning for him. He'll then head down the staircase and he'll watch that rotate. He'll watch that flank and he'll be the late push. Is he going to be as impactful as before? NVK once again looking to come down this front staircase. The drones are being picked off by enemy shotgun at the bottom. Panics is down there too. Grenade coming out. There's enemy moving back. The grenade will take out Young's drone for him, and there is Panics moving back into the site. The thermite charge goes off, and servers is under Continuum control. Minute 40 on the clock, and Panics is keeping track through the wall with his heartbeat sensor on what's coming their way. Yeah, at the moment, it's just NBK down that staircase. Everyone else is still droning elsewhere. Here's now Blackbeard joining. We talked about how menacing Young has been from down here. Can he pick up any kills this time over?
Where's that roamer? Oh no, they have all 5 in the basement.
They have all 5 in the basement. Looking through the gap again. Down goes
It's the guy
Elem.
on the bomb. Are you not
Guy
learning
behind
from your
B-bomb
mistakes?
every time.
Yeah, that's the second, third time he's done that.
Pre-fires towards where Meepy could be. Doesn't see the camera that's right next to his ACOG. It's actually a
Is that a
nice spot.
Jaeger playing the bomb again?
The Jaeger, I think he was back by elevator.
Yeah,
he
no,
was
he's
a long
playing
way
it.
back. Flashbangs come over towards where Meepy is. The
There it
drone
is.
does just flash up and spot it. Meepy's fallen back as the grenades are coming over.
Oh.
There's Zeronic playing the spot. He takes a massive
You can't
shot to
do
the
that.
face. Lucky to be alive. Meepy's down. The grenade kills him off. The fireball comes out to finish him. Proning all the way in has worked for Canadian. The plant's going down. Panics his heartbeat sending through the wall, but now he can't peek because Canadian's there. Pre-fire from Canadian and the plant is down. 5v3. Blackbeard's still alive. Everyone's still alive for Continuum. Panics peeks out, prone. I don't know what happened. Necrox is upstairs. They peek around. Canadian goes down. They finally take him out from enemy shotgun. He's done this time and time again, but now look well spread they are.
There's still a
Zeronic's coming up
Blackbeard, though.
above. Necrox is above Zeronic. Zeronic is right behind the flowers. They don't see
You're
each
looking
other.
at him.
Necrox can see
You're
Zeronic.
looking right at
Zeronic
him.
can see Necrox. Necrox comes out on top. He picks up the kill, and enemy now has to find 4. He pushes forward with the Desert Eagle. Doesn't hit the Blackbeard too significantly. Will fall to NVK, and we come down to our final deciding round.
Oh my god. That was an insane round. Every round, these are all crazy. Okay, the same server take that we've been seeing all night, but differences here. They reinforced the planter wall which they haven't done so far from playing Ducks, but they still
just
played on the bomb.
They let Capital prone all the way in.
And they and as well, they let Blackbeard challenge the bomb and damage Jaeger and kill another player. You can't do that. It's not been working for you all night. If they had those two players, well, Jaeger, if they had him at full HP, and if they had the other player not killed, it's entirely possible that they would have been able to deny the plant. It's frustrating to see.
Exactly the same operators coming out for both teams as the first round of overtime. Playing Ducks won that round. Young nearly turned it with that C4 play, with that aggression. Getting away with that level of aggression again is unlikely. Getting away with the C4 not going off for playing Ducks is just as unlikely.
Here's the thing. This is playing Ducks on attack. Typically speaking, we've been seeing attack be the more successful side. They have the advantage here. They have every right to win this round. This is in their ballpark. But if Continuum can do what they did on Clubhouse earlier, if they can throw that crazy aggression that they've been known to do into the works and just deny playing Ducks before they've even set up to take the site, then we'll see.
And 5 players downstairs for Continuum.
But a Jaeger on the stairs getting aggressive.
Here on the stairs is MVK, though he's done this every time to now. How far up does he go? He's right up into the skylight spot now. Panix is right behind this pillar. He's not even properly covered by this pillar now. But he has got
they are
taking firing
no
over his
risks.
shoulder. They know he likes to sit there. He's done this every time. They've set up Claymores because of it. They know Canadian is now up top 2. Blackbeard's on this floor. If Canadian can kill this Blackbeard before he gets around this corner. Blackbeard's on his drone! Canadian doesn't see him! Canadian peeks over the top, kills the thermite charge, but then will fall. 1 thermite charge for Canadian. Young gets taken down by Meepy as he pushes through the charge. Oh, the charge did go off! After all of that, the charge went.
It's a 5v3 for playing Ducks now on the match points. Everything's
over through
going
the trap
their way.
door.
They
Down
still
goes
have the round.
Blackbeard. NVK still in the site. Necrox in the site and Retro. The second charge will go on the wall.
All they
The
have
bomb
to do is
side's
be
getting
patient.
open. Patience for playing Ducks.
Yeah.
Slow and methodical.
Don't rush it.
Meepy has the diffuser. Necrox is there on the inside of the wall by the B-bomb. Zeronic's going to start pre-firing through it. The hole is up high, so all they have to do is throw, but now they can be seen. Necrox is in serious peril. Retro in the corridor as well. MVK inside the site, still behind the bomb. If his position is unknown to playing Ducks, he could do serious damage. Smoke starts to go out, but there is a minute 15 still on the clock. That is a lot of time, and those smokes won't cover it all. More shots coming through into the darkness by Zeronic. NVK is prone right underneath them. Sprinting in goes an enemy. He's taken out by Necrox from inside. More smokes going over. The plant's going to start to go down, but he moves. Panix takes out MVK with a grenade. Necrox falls back again to safety. Still 50 seconds. This planter is still safe. Drop from above comes LMs. Necrox in that tunnel is now known. Retro out in the corridor is also under playing Ducks control. They're waiting for the smokes to time through, and there are now no smoke grenades left. Firebolts coming into the door. The plant is going down. Retro's thinking about making a move in. The shots are rattling off, and Meepy cancels the plant because he's on 1 point of health. 30 seconds. In goes Capital. Here comes the plant. The shots are rattling towards the corridor. Retro doesn't need to do it as Zeronic has been taken out by LMs. That's Blackbeard gone. Panix is down inside the site. Meepy is on 1 HP. LMs is on full. They don't have any drones on the bomb. Meepy is going upstairs. Necrox is going to go for the flank. Retro has to be calm inside the site and wait for the timing to be the level point. Panix is playing as a drone on site while down. He can feed information about the diffuser. Retro takes down Panix. That's the dead diffuser man. Meepy on the top of this staircase. He can see the gun. Meepy taken out up and above by Necrox. It's 1v2 for LMs. This is going to be the deciding factor. Continuum. Can't find him, but there's the second kill. Retro's done it! More than enough time to defuse. Continuum are the first North American team to win Rainbow Six Pro League.
Holy sh... Oh...